Hey, all of you. I actually had time to give a little bit of a notice today instead of just firing in the hole like I have been lately. Hopefully, next week I'll get back to a regular schedule, but we're gonna get through this, I hope, and hopefully a little bit more. Hey, y'all. Okay, first and foremost, I got to update and show you guys this. And you're not going to see my face and everything today because I just took my lashes off last night and I'm getting ready for vacation. So, but I went and got, oh, you can't see them. Hold on. Let me get you in a spot that you can see them. Let's see if I go over here, if you can see them. Vegas nails. I don't know if you can tell what they are or not. Maybe I'll have to take a picture. They're foiled is what they are. They're foiled. Okay, so I got that done. I got my banana bread baked for the next week or so. I mean, 4 loaves last like 3 days in our house, but I got that done. I got all the laundry done. I got all the vacuuming done. My house is cleaned. Everybody's set, ready to go. Now I just got to pack. All my outfits came in. We're ready. Slime Ball the Hut. Hello. Let's see. Pika. Hello. I hope your birthday was great yesterday. Thor. You might need a bigger cup of coffee. That is for sure. Rondi. LFT. LFT. I popped in for like 10-15 minutes earlier today. And then earliest this morning, after I watched a little bit of The Lawyer and into Queen Bees, and then I popped back in and had it in my ear while I was getting my nails done for about 15 minutes. And there were some things I heard that I was not from Queen Bee again, but there was some questions about pants. We'll get there anyways. And we'll talk about that a little bit today too, because there was somebody sitting on panel that has been spreading this pants rumor and remained quiet the entire time. So I was just kind of shocked by that, but not really. But we're going to talk about some of that. Hey, Steph. Hey, Revival. Am, Ava, Roro, Diana, Earth, Zoya, The Ghost, Janice in Accounting, Twist, Mal, Mickey, Remy, The Deflectionist, Wee Gobsheet, Rockabit, Whispers in the Shadow, Kimberly. Ooh, Elgato. Yeah, we're not going to do the whole MAGA all day thing in here. That's probably not going to work out very well for anybody. So let's not. Let's just not. Let's not. I'm in a good mood, so I don't feel like roasting anybody today right yet. Oh, hey, Chatty. I'll get to something else too that I'm being accused of. Hey, Lily. Truth Matters. Maria. Just Robin. Jennifer M. Yes, we are, Remy. We are. It's race time. It's finals. Hey, Sammy. Cray Cray. Foiled. Yeah, not boiled, foiled. Hey, Stella, Zoya. I'm going to try to take you guys. Hopefully I'll have decent service, but it always depends. Hey, Miss Leah, Kelsey, Donna. I did twist. Hey, Bree. Georgia. Yeah, hopefully we'll get there. Dreads for life. Sorry, I'm watching all this. We are, Miss Leah. Hey, sweet sativa. Oh, fuck it. Lip locked. Natalie, KT, pineapple. Did you hear the silence, pineapple? I thought so too. I was like, wait a second. I'm almost positive that that's clipped with 2 people. One was only on panel, I think, at the time, but there was, you could hear a pin drop with that silence up there. Hey, Fred. Sheila. Angel. Yep. I was like, what the hell? Why do people not take accountability? You thought I said boiled too? Foiled. Sorry, guys. That Michelle, I definitely don't have boiled nails going on. Fiji would be nice. Hey, Julia, but I'll take the 90. We're only at 90 degrees today, so it's cooling off over here, and I love it. All right, so we're going to continue where we left off last night. We're going to get through that, and then we're going to hopefully hop to Mr. E's and talk about a little bit what the lawyer has been saying, because I have a lot of things to say on that whole situation. Probably not what some of you are going to expect. Probably not what some of you want to hear, but it is what it is. So we're going to get through as much as we can and cram it all in, because then we're going on vacay. But by the way, BJ, I got a message and I'm not really sure who it is, but it's somebody that associates over there, that somebody is amping her up. I don't know where this was said, if it was said in a back room, where it was. I don't give a shit, truly, but I'm not bashing you for cash for vacation. You are not funding my vacation. Let's be very clear on that. That's a Kyle thing. Kyle paid for our vacation. Kyle took care of that, because he works a job. But I'm not bashing you for cash or for vacation funds. Let's be very clear on that. So, that's a you thing, not a me thing. Let's just stop that, because that's stupid as fuck. Plus, I'm a couple hours away from Vegas. It's really not that big of a deal. Truly, it's really not. Hey, Emily, like, just the stupid shit. Oh, that Michelle, just the stupid people that like to, they had her so amped up. We're going to go back and look at some of that. Hey, Callie Cat, Queen Bella. We'll get there. Hey, MN Greg. Hey, Rocky. It's so nice, Rocky, being in the 90s versus the hundreds. I know. Yep. I know. Like, I know. Like, that's the crazy thing. Like, but you can't make sense of, we bought tickets months ago to this. Like, anyways, anywho, there's just that. Like, you're not worth that much as far as that goes. But okay, here we go. Let's just get into it, because that was silly. That was silly. Okay. On Revival. I'm so excited. Hey, Skip to my Lou. Hey, Anyaka. Okay, here we go. We're going to pick up where we left off. So last night we left off, and the chat box is on the screen so you guys can see who's coming in her chat. This is from the 2 nights ago. We're going to finish off with this, because I want you to see the foundation of how this all built up and what they were doing. Now, again, she is reviewing Nick the Hat. Tony Mathis is in her chat while she's doing this. Again, the chaos that ensued off of this was all intentional. Hey, Chico. Hey, everybody coming in. This was all intentional. This is Grandma Sherry. Hello. Every bit of this was intentional, because they're amping things up to get attention on them. I think everybody knew that. Nothing is shocking here. So this all falls under fair use. Please keep it semi-friendly. No hefty allegations. As you guys know, we don't talk about kids. Otherwise, we're grown adults.
But when you're getting info,
we ended last night at about the 2:38 minute mark. So we're going to start about the actually, I'm going to speed it up a little bit. The 2:34-minute mark, and I am going to kick the speed up on this because I don't have time to sit here for 5 hours droning on about listening to them.
When we go to court, it's a whole different battle, and that
Well, we might
creator
have 5 hours, but I'm not going to listen to this solely for 5 hours.
knows it. That's why that creator is a smart guy, and I wish others followed his lead. Cluminati, I'm going to give you a clue about what's going to come, and it's called a federal injunction, not a cease and desist. We're going to drag you through the courts, and we're going to drag you in every state. If you live in, we're going to bring you to Tennessee, we'll bring you to New York, we'll bring you to Pennsylvania. We're going to sue Cluminati, especially because I can't stand that person. You made it on my radar with your little jokes and calling people. You're making fun of people because they're Chinese.
What's really interesting to me about this whole thing with him mentioning Clue is he posted text messages between Clue and him. That's kind of interesting. To me, it seems like they are kind of targeting people that they think might be doing something on behalf of the Proudfoots, but people have reached out. Yeah, I got some questions there. We'll get into that when we get to the lawyer stuff after this, but there's some questions I have going on here. And again, go back to who's associated with who. JLR associates here. Where do you see other people that love JLR? I mean,
you are a jokester, you are a clown, and that's why you are on TikTok. Again, guys, we are looking for Sebastian Rogers. He went missing February 25th. There's no indication to say that he has been harmed. He may be in harm's way, and there's no indication that he went home.
Who's the one on TikTok?
barbecue lady.
Barbecue lady?
But he said Clue.
No, I know. And he's talking about somebody else. If you listen back again, he's talking about, yeah, he's talking about barbecue lady.
Oh.
I think. I could be wrong.
Well, I want to say this in defense of Hong. The dude, you can tell he wears his heart on his sleeve. He's got a heart of gold. I said that from day one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that shit. That was
same thing I said last night. Yeah, guy's got such a heart of gold that he makes slanderous allegations against the parents of a missing child. Sure. Such a heart of gold walking around a cemetery while doing it. Okay. Heart of gold. Where is it on his sleeve?
Wrong for anybody. And we said this well before Nick ever came into my chat. Because it's been several people. There's the whole videos made about the racism that went out against Hong, like when he started going live. But you know what? This community it's lost. They've lost their moral boundary.
Tracy, I don't think she realizes it. And even if she does realize what's going on, she don't care because it's about the views and numbers for her. This is like, anyways.
The worst thing I said was that I wanted to pinch his cheeks.
Because, I mean,
did you see Chris's latest post, by the way?
No, what?
I sent it to you on Messenger.
Oh, let me look at
B-Tim, I'm going to give you a whole breakdown of what I think about the attorney stuff upcoming when we get to that. I'm going to try to finish out this but I'll give you my whole entire views on this whole situation with all of it. No fucks like given over here.
A video, and it's about someone explaining about fatherhood and how you have to be strict on the child and blah blah.
We shared it last night.
Okay, yeah, I felt good, by the way. I was like, I haven't been feeling good, and so I'm fighting like a sinusitis infection, and I fell asleep hardcore.
Look, Ren.
Hey, Hartley, it's good to see you. Good to see everybody coming in too. Thank you for joining me.
Ren Henniger. Ren's a host. Yeah.
They don't have any
Sebastian Strong, 100%. That's what it's about.
They'll have class. They will never have any class.
No,
this group of people talking about people not having class is just ironic.
Do anything to them. Which even if he did, you're gonna go after the guy for who he is? Like, really? Come on.
Again, none of that's necessary. That was excessive. Hate speech is hate speech, but she allows it on her panel all the time. That's what is so fucking fucked up about this. Like, she has no space to talk in this arena because she allows it all the time. So there's that.
On February 25th. So now, again, he vanished on the 25th, not the 26th. Never got home. Prove me otherwise, because all the neighbors can't.
Wait. You don't think he came home?
No, I said that too.
What?
I said that earlier that he said
that. And for those of you that didn't watch last night, we are 2 hours, 38 minutes in, and the furthest we've gotten to this video up until this point in these 2 hours and 38 minutes that she did this was 4 minutes. She's finally at the 6-minute mark, and she's missed the same thing we've reviewed. She's gone back like 5 different times to hear the same thing said, and she's just now catching that he is rewriting what law enforcement has told us when Sebastian went missing. But she also missed a huge foundational piece when he claims that a police report disappeared. When bullshit Bobby and the teenagers were approached by Chris Proudfoot, Nick here claimed that report disappeared. Meanwhile, he also said that the report was given to Henderson Police Department. They live in Hendersonville or outside of Hendersonville, which would be Sumner County. So it would have been not that police department anyways. Okay, but none of them caught that, even though they listened to it like 5 times.
Don't you think there would be video of him? If there's video of him, supposedly video of him in the dark, putting the trash down, don't you think there would be video of him arriving home with his mother after dinner that night? He was not seen on video.
No, not necessarily. No. Because if they pulled into the garage and got out in the garage, depending on how the camera's pointed, no, not necessarily, Sarah. But again, that's common sense.
But outside of the dinner, the steakhouse or whatever.
You be careful, girl. They will all be trying to get in with you, and you already know they
ain't no one going to try to get in over there unless you were a dumbass and just like to be a dumbass. I mean, there is nothing salacious going on over there besides them using her for pushing a narrative because she will buy into anything that anybody tells her.
Do not let that happen. Keep close to the bell. Oh yeah, no. My circle is tight, and I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of things that we have learned a lot of lessons from Sebastian's case. We have learned a lot of lessons about not being so reactive. We've learned lots of lessons about not.
Says the woman that cries for like 45 minutes, 3 nights a week in the first hour of every show. Okay.
You don't want to falsely accuse someone of doing anything. You want to be.
Don't want to falsely accuse someone. Meanwhile, in April, if you go back when Sweetie Pilo came out with those horrific allegations against Chris Proudfoot, they were salivating over those accusations. Again, you can go back and look at my videos. She took her videos down, but mine are still up. And see how much false accusations were thrown out there.
Be careful what you say. And we've also learned, I don't know what it is about Sebastian's case particularly, but Sebastian's case has brought out a lot of truthfulness. It's revealed many things that we didn't know before. We've seen a lot of true colors come to light.
Don't judge a book by its cover until you read the entire thing.
Yes,
these people, oh my God.
I have lost or that have come against me, I will not have back after this. Like, people have showed who they are in their worst side. And yeah, you also learned you can't.
For anybody wondering if she does the whole like pull it down midstream of me reviewing it, all of this is screen recorded. I showed her last night, so it's not worth her while to even attempt to pull it down. I mean, she can do what she wants, but I've got it all recorded and ready to go. Same with last night's. It's all recorded, including her comment section, and uploaded to YouTube too. So these are called checkmate bitches. I don't review something that I don't have a backup of.
Really trust many people either. People proved in this case, people have proven how weak and how strong they really are, right?
Mm-hmm.
How gullible and how easy they will fall for things that if you just sit there and think about what these people tell you and you actually decipher it in your mind and use critical thinking.
Critical thinking is what's being used over there.
Doesn't add up, but people don't do that.
And by the way, my sense of humor is really dry. I'm tired and I have a lot going on, so I'm really, really sarcastic and like really dry. So please understand, most of this is extreme sarcasm. Like, there is no fucking critical thinking that goes on at all over there, period.
They just blindly follow and go over to the other side.
Yep.
Hey, Britt.
There shouldn't be a side. There's a missing child. That's it.
I'm going to help give the guinea pig a bath. I'm here. So if I don't respond, that's why my hands will be wet. I'm going to mute.
Oh, thank God. Okay. Sarah's muting.
Sarah's getting Nikki. I said Sarah's getting Nikki.
All right. Samantha says, I think the CP and KP making it a huge deal. I don't know why he walked out of the front door. That was just a big direction. Oh, yeah. To get everyone's attention away from what really happened. Yes. Hey,
or could it be the fact that he walked out the front door?
Hey, John Q. I don't think that anybody's saying that Sebastian didn't come home as fact. I think it's more of Nick's opinion.
We all have our opinions.
And we spoke to them. Literally, everybody says, oh, we looked at the surveillance. We know what Sebastian looks like. If he was walking out, other neighbors have seen him doing ding dong ditch. We know about all of that stuff.
Other neighbors have seen him doing ding dong ditch. Again, that has never been stated anywhere. Bullshit. And Bobby, in her interview with JLR, she said that kids in the neighborhood have done years ago ding dong ditch. She never included Sebastian in that. In fact, if you go back to that interview, she actually states that she didn't even know that a kid lived in that house. So there's that. But he's saying that Sebastian was doing ding dong ditch.
Okay. And if he did leave the house, he was running for his life.
And we don't know that as fact either.
The Proudfoot the guy that threw the little girl on the table.
And you
the guy
notice
that
how
closed the
there's
room.
a panel of 6 people. She's got 6 people up on that panel, and not one of them are correcting the misinformation that is being spread. And they have reviewed this case over and over again for at least the last 6 months nightly, and they're not pushing back.
Girl on the table needs to get himself.
We have no indication that Chris ever threw any woman on a table anywhere, including a little girl.
Howard, who hits a little girl? Who hits a little boy? Again,
Nina's statements, you can take them as what they are and run with it all you want. But again, there's no proof of that.
With stay safe, stay vigilant. If I'm bad and I go somewhere, you got hung, and Illuminati can go at him all she wants because it shows her character. People that follow her, I mean, come on. You guys are following a true crime person that's defending victims while she's making fun of people? Yeah, because you don't have anything to talk about. He's not on parole, so you can't say anything. Illuminati, grow up. If you're going to body shame people, lose weight first, and then you start. Again, guys, stay safe, stay vigilant, and good luck with... When I say good luck, I mean the people that are commenting and supporting us, you're probably going to get death threats too.
So now he's trying to incite that his chat's going to start receiving death threats because they're in support. Come on now. You didn't show proof of the death threats to begin with.
Be ready for it, because there's only one person that hasn't gotten death threats yet, and it's an interesting character and tied to the Prophets.
So he's claiming that, once again, that only one person has not gotten death threats. I don't know who this is or what he's trying to imply here. Nobody has shown proof of death threats this far. And you've got to compartmentalize. There is stuff with Sebastian's case and Sebastian's case independently. There's been no updates, no changes in that. There has been none of the searchers have reported any threats that they supposedly got when they were ran off. You know, those big stories. There's been no proof of those threats to searchers. There's been no threats around that. Law enforcement stated that. But you have the whole side piece of the characters who inserted themselves, aligned themselves with one side or the other of the parents of Sebastian, and that's a whole different situation. And now there's been all sorts of shit flying from the characters, but that has nothing truly to do with Sebastian's case.
See something, say something. 833 tell dog. The search area is expanding to cover additional states because
the search area is now, just now, 6 months in, expanding to cover more. Oh my God.
Very heavy reason to believe that Sebastian is still alive. The tips that are coming in and that are being cross-referenced with other tips and photos that are being shown to these individuals, dog is on the hunt and he's not slowing down. You're going to see dog on national TV with the attorneys this week. I don't know the exact dates, but I'm sure there'll be teasers and they'll come out as they come along. So again, stay safe, stay vigilant. If you see something, 833 tell dog. If you have any information, tips at manhunts.1.
Should be 1-800-TBI find, and solely with law enforcement. This is a missing child, not a game.
And Illuminati, come at me. Don't come at other people, because I'll be the one coming back at you. So if you want to take somebody on, it's me. I'm Nick. Nice to meet you. Come at me. Please continue coming at me. I welcome you. I welcome it. And I can't wait to.
Well then, tell us how you really feel, Nick.
Nick's in the chat over here at Brittany, so you can see that on your screen.
Mic drop.
Mic drop. What did he mic drop on?
Did he really tell her that she had to lose weight before she could body shame someone?
Yes.
My
he did. Was she body shaming Hong?
She body shames all kinds of people. She calls Seth a fat bastard. Every other word out of her mouth is fat
Yeah,
bastard.
poor Seth. She does call him that. Mocks his weight. Night, thank you so much for gifting not 1 but 2 memberships. I appreciate that. That means so much to me. If you were gifted a membership from...
Thank God her memberships are working, because we already had like a 20-minute meltdown over if her memberships were working in this video.
Not. Please tell them thank you. I appreciate it. And welcome to the green team. Thank you so much.
Arctic says, send great value JLR back to Walmart. He's got a bad smell to him. I think he's past his best buy date. Yeah, there's a lot of shit here. Yeah, I have a major problem with anybody asking for tips on a missing child case. Absolutely. Arctic, thank you for the support.
Team Sebastian Strong. Facts speak volumes. Fantasy of forensics versus facts. Fact. CP hits kids. Fact. CP knows names of little girls in the neighborhood. Fact. CP beats women. Ooh.
Fact. We have no proof that he hits kids. Fact. Except a one-time pop on the butt with a belt that he admitted to. Secondly, CP knows names of little girls in the neighborhood. He knows a little girl's name, a teenager's name, that was with Bullshit and Bobby in the back seat because she had made a Facebook post in reference to this situation. That's how he knew who she was. Fact, CP beats women. We have no indication that that's true whatsoever. In fact, his ex did not make allegations of that. So, sure. And none of them push back.
according to Nick. According to Nick. Okay. Hey, Chewy's mom. Black says, in my opinion, Chris
Revival,
planned
I don't have that much energy.
for this for months before Sebastian went missing. He is a big crime watcher. He thought the outcome would be like Summers, where it'll just fizzle away. I want to know where the threats are coming from.
Pick me, pick me.
That's what I want to know. Let's go to Bobby's video though. Hang on a second, because I think after all is said and done, that's an interesting one to listen to again.
Best were you saying pick me like you want to answer the question?
Well, I have so many guesses, but I have no facts
Oh,
on that.
okay. I wasn't sure if you were asking for a death threat or you wanted to answer the question.
Oh, wow.
Well, I can tell you we haven't received death threats, but we have received a lot of hate and threats.
Reviewing your own content that you put out here on a public platform is not considered hate. It is considered your own fucking public stance. Your statements that you put out here publicly. Somebody reviewing your public shit is not hate. I'm sorry. I'm so sick of grown-ass adults with such thin skin that they cannot be reviewed and instantly, oh my God, it's hate.
No, you can't say that, Brittany, because Clue did tell she was threatening. I don't want to say threatening. I think it was more of a hypothetical threat, but she can't get over talking about you guys meeting in person and her beating your ass.
Oh yeah, she wants to beat my ass bad. What did she say? I had need to have. I don't even remember how she said it.
Brittany, don't go alone.
Oh no,
Brittany ain't going there. What you talking about? She's not stupid.
I am. Listen, if I had to fight, like if somebody was in my face, I'm not gonna hold back. I would fight back.
Yeah, but what kind of stupid internet people get all riled up each other? They go back and forth like the arguing corgis, get all riled up.
Are you people okay? Are you really okay? Even discussing if you have to. I am fucking 41 years old. I am fighting shit. Sorry. That's too much energy to expel over YouTube words.
And then, like, oh yeah, pull up. And then they drive to the other person's house and then fight. Like, who actually does that? Come on now. We're not.
We're in our 30s.
Hey, ladies. Everybody in chat saying, look at Nick's comment.
Hold on.
Wait a minute.
I'm going to interrupt and let you guys know what's being said in the chat. So just know that.
Hold on a second.
They're salivating over Nick being in the chat.
He was on a three-way. He told Dog that it'll. Wait, what?
Whoa,
Wait a minute. Go up. Is it that?
This is all promotion for their upcoming interview.
Hold on. What, Nick? Huh?
Wow.
He told Dog you will never find him.
Who's he?
That makes me believe. My daughter gave me her theory. I'll go buy it with you, Brittany, in private, but it's not pretty. I'll just put it
Okay.
that way.
Nick, can I ask you who the three-way call was with?
Oh, Lord.
Why would he say
This
that?
hurts my head.
Especially to the dog.
Seeing like Dog is something special. He's a 71-year-old retired bounty hunter.
Yeah, three-way call again. Great point there, Justin.
Yeah, another three-way call. Who was the three-way call? Was it Dog, Seth, and Chris? Wait a minute. Here we go. Chris, Dog, and you. Oh.
So Nick's claiming they got a threat from Chris on a three-way call. They're going to release it on Court TV, promoting themselves being on Court TV.
Is he disrespectful to you as well? Because I know that according to Tony, when he had a phone call with him, they ended up having like a confrontation. Like, I guess they both cussed each other out.
If you look at your screen, you can zoom in and see Tony Mathis is still in her chat too. Tell me this isn't concocted.
Tony, if you're here, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure you told me that, right?
Again, it's shocking to see Tony back over there after he went on panel there last time. Then she took 2 nights afterwards to say that she knew he was lying to her, but she just, there's a mission to her madness. She was just letting him lie. That's what she was all about. You know, he's a liar. But now he's back over there in her chat. Do you really think Tony's back over there for anything that's not motivated? This is calculated. They know exactly what they're doing, and she's stupid enough to fall for it and pushing the narrative that they want her to. These creators are fawning over these people like there's something important and running with shit. It is what it is.
Yeah, Tony said yes. Wow.
Tony's here like lurking in the bushes.
I think that's smart though, because they're clocking everything they say.
I know, but he's just sitting here taking it all in.
So, so CP talked to them like he talks to women.
Oh, he didn't do any cussing. Let me clarify that. Okay, sorry about that, Tony. He didn't do any cussing. Okay.
And the first time we heard Tony talk about when him and Chris talked, he never said any of that stuff. He wasn't all tough guy about it. They were actually, he said on Web Sleuths that their conversation, Chris was talking about it anyways. You can have your feelings. Like, all of this stuff is just so convoluted at this point in time. Nick is in the chat over here again saying, maybe she'll pin it. We'll see.
Was he just rude to you, just hateful?
We called once and he tried to speak down to me and we said it straight, quick. And he never answered again, but he texted us from Katie's phone. Doubt it was her, and said to contact the TBI for info. Where's the death threat in that?
It's actually very interesting to hear, being that, we go and listen to the phone call with Heather, and every other word's a curse word.
Well, can I say something?
Yeah.
If he said that, would you not take that as admission?
Yeah, I would.
Because I definitely would.
All right. So Nick says, we called once and he tried to speak down to me, and we said it straight, quick, and he never answered again. But he texted us from Katie's phone. Doubt it was her, and said to contact TBI for info.
No pushback. No, where's the proof?
Wow.
No, nothing.
Why?
They're just running along with this.
I just don't understand that. Like, why does it have to be a confrontation with everybody that he talks to?
Shocking. It's not.
Because I'm going to say, in my opinion, he's got guilt. Like, he's a guilty party. He knows.
Somebody on our panel saying because he's a guilty party.
What happened to Sebastian?
He knows what happened to Sebastian.
In my opinion.
More crazy accusations that they don't do.
I think he has a superiority complex, if you ask me.
Look, Nick says, we tried to work with them as a group. I believe that. It's because it's like you said, it's easier to work with the family together as a whole than to do it the way that you guys are having to do it now.
So, Nick, do you feel he doesn't want Sebastian found? And Tony, I'm asking both of you.
Nick says, we literally asked, they joined the search, and we'd fend off people from them too. So basically saying that you would prevent people from coming and harassing them. They said no, and kind of to get lost, but way more aggressively. What the hell? Tony says
they're
yes.
working hand in hand with law enforcement. They don't need a no-name company to come in and do this. They're working with law enforcement to find their son. Oh,
That's been happening though since like day one. They chased off JLR, Dolly.
They did not chase off JLR or Dolly. JLR and Dolly should have never been there. Dolly flew a drone over their house. JLR was filming people and following their parents, the Bower Sox. That all unfolded.
CJ.
CJ got chased off because CJ was recording Robin Rogers. And then there was, we've detailed all of that. CJ didn't get chased off either. CJ is so scared of his own fucking shadow.
Busby.
Busby.
Chloe and what's her name?
Now, here's the part that blows my mind. JLR.
Oh,
I wish that JLR would tell me where.
He's not saying anything now.
Yeah, but I wish JLR would tell me where this, like, why this flip happened, because JLR saw it firsthand. You know,
I have a feeling it has to do with BHB, to be honest.
They closed us. They chased us away, so it's suspicious. Yes, it is. I agree with that.
They didn't chase you away. You've never been there.
And Nick, that is one of the major things that we all struggle with as well. It's been that way since the day that they went live for the first interview.
So these people who claim they're true crime creators think that anybody and everybody should just be, yep, come on in, create all the chaos you want while our child is missing. Get the fuck out of here.
It's every interview is more like a PR stunt, you know, a way to get the approval of
once again. She's back to saying that everything that the Proudfoots have done is a PR stunt. Meanwhile, they were trying to bring awareness for their missing child.
It's more
damage control.
Yeah, damage control.
Damage control. Meanwhile, they were the first ones to come out and ask for help, but that's been overlooked too.
Actually, like getting the word out for Sebastian. And then every single method that the public or Seth or anybody, every single resource that has been thrown at them or opportunity or hand out, you know, to help, they pushed it away.
These aren't people that I would want anywhere around my family. The people that have encouraged and incited the stalking, keeping them under surveillance, the threats, going to their workplaces, keeping them constantly in the social media spotlight with false rumors, yeah, sure. No, sorry. I wouldn't want that either.
But why?
That's what I want to know. Why?
I asked you first.
Nothing. I don't know.
Here's the
I-
TikTok twits in the comment section, Cajun. They didn't want a dog. They didn't want dog to help find her son, but can meet up with the TikToker. They took the TikToker flyers. I mean, come on now, people.
honestly don't know. SW the
One of
other
the $1 million questions.
that they, yeah, you know, I'm trying to be careful, but
We all are.
how do we get the public involved without ending the few TikTokers / whatever they are? Well, here's the thing too. Whoever has caused that, or whoever's behind it, I can tell you that it started with Clue. And anybody that looks back and actually really researches where this shift happened, it started with Clue. At
No,
least
there was never a shift that happened. It was always there, right in front of everybody's face.
against Seth, the hatred against Seth.
No, sorry, wrong.
She did an interview with Katie, and she has a psychology degree. And she evaluated it, and
Who has a psychology degree?
Clue.
Who? What?
SF or SW saying SW 4x4 is saying that Clue has a psychology degree.
What?
Can you repeat that, please?
Did you say Clue has a psychology degree?
No, he does
Oh,
not.
SW.
No way. I don't believe that. No.
Yeah, she's actually really smart. She's really smart. She just pretends she puts on this persona.
Well,
It's a persona. I'm telling you, she's smart. She got her shit together.
yeah, but it's gonna get her in trouble now.
I don't know how smart she is. I mean, she
Oh,
She pretends to be stupid so that she can remain like.
Are these people okay? That's all I'm going to continue to ask is, are these people okay? Where do they make this shit up at? By the way, for anybody wondering where the 15 to 20 came from, SW 4x4s, who's a mod for T-Rev, Pascal, Brittany, and a few others, came in early on in this live stream that we're reviewing and said that she had inside sources and there was 20 people going to get these C&Ds.
she's ignorant. Plain and simple, she's ignorant. She's a bigot. She's a racist, and she's a psychology major. Come on now. Oh, wow.
there's a meeting in Oklahoma for strategy with the company. The people who have stuff to hide already started hiding.
There's a meeting in Oklahoma for strategy with the company. What company? At Night Media? Tony lives in Oklahoma. Like, what's this meeting for strategy? I thought they already had a plan and 24 assets on ground in Tennessee. Oh, my head hurts.
Wow. All right, give me just a second, y'all. I gotta get this cat, and then we're gonna go through Bobby's interview. I need to go ahead and pull it up.
Somebody in chat says she got her degree from Timo.
What?
Who knew?
Wasn't he saying to go watch Jen Coffendorfer's live right now, or was he saying like in a couple days?
Yeah, I know she's got a live in 2 days. Thanks,
Friday.
Coffendaffer. You were supposed to do it today.
No, it'll be Friday.
She done put us back on the
Chase
back
and Crime, another TikTok twit, is in the comment section over there saying Shamefoots only associate with messy ones to make a bigger mess on purpose. Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, she's a part of Seth and Tony's TikTok twits. Lord.
It's okay. Maybe she's got more information that she's got to put with it. So
I was just, girl, you read my mind, Anna. I was coming to unmute to say that.
Coffendorfer is an ex-FBI agent who does social media and media stuff. She is nothing. Oh, this just fucking hurts my head at this point. Like, these people are so ridiculous. It's painful to watch. She gets her information fed directly to her. We reviewed one of her live streams the other day where she had an unnamed source that she was touting threats about to.
She's gathering it all up so she could put it all out at once.
mm-hmm.
And she might be fact checking, and she could be waiting on a document or two. You never know. Yep.
Isn't Dog going to be on with her also? Yeah, I think that's what it
Nick
said.
in the
I think
chat
it-
says somebody said Clue who had diabetes. If that's true, she says she should spend more time walking, less time running her mouth.
in the title.
Yeah.
And they're okay with all that. They're okay with every bit of that.
I'm gonna have a garage sale that day, but I'm gonna tell everybody just take it. It's free, so I can watch.
Have them watch it with you. Make some lemonade or something and have them sit there and watch it with you.
I don't think any of these people watch this stuff. Oh,
Come on, for criminies.
Well, even with JLR, I argue like it's not even just that he stopped, like he flipped, right? But he also started putting things out that hang on, like that. Like I'll give you an example. He did that live where he put out that all of Seth's weapons were seized, right? Which gave the impression that Seth got raided.
JLR is a troll. He's been using this situation to troll everybody. We've known that from jump. That's why he took one of his pre-existing Facebook groups, turned the name to Mysterious Disappearance, pushed a bunch of false narratives on one side, then switched to doing it on the other side.
But in
This is
actuality,
typical JLR movements. Him and Nick the Hat have been previously associated throughout a long time. He's associated with a lot of these creators who were feeding him information through Magnolia.
was kind of clickbait because Seth had to turn over his weapons when Katie did the
Yeah, that was
protective
old.
order back when Sebastian was a baby and they were getting
that
a
was in
divorce.
California.
And he's since got new ones.
I
you know.
detailed all that and addressed JLR with his clickbait on that.
It's not like he can't have them. And it had nothing to do with this now. I hate the clickbait. I really do.
He had a title on one of his shows today about the shooter in the New Jersey freeway. Where was that guy? 10 days ago.
Kentucky?
Kentucky.
I see you have to
Kentucky.
The couch person.
Yes, Kentucky.
And needless to say,
What do you say about it?
SW just needs to shut up. She can't get nothing straight.
fired. We have him surrounded. No,
Oh, Jesus Lord.
he's still out on the loose and no one's got him. And
They have no clue where he is.
he had 18,000 people in his chat watching him.
Whoa.
And I'm like, for real? Where is this guy that you're surrounded? And all the cops drove past him and waved. They took off. And it was like, no, we don't have him.
What
I'm
the
like-
frick? So he saw police activity more than usual and just jumped the gun on that one. Oh, sorry. It was a phrase and I said the word. I apologize.
Until his goons
I
over-
gotta fast forward, you guys. I can't take this. I can't. This is just
You would get that
Yeah.
title. I didn't get it, thank goodness. But
Yeah, I know they
Yeah.
had it back in the day. I know, but I'm talking about. All right, guys, let's get on to it. I know everybody's patient. Wait, here we go, guys.
Bernie coming in with the passive, the burn again. It's like
I got the neighbors. This is Bobby.
this is so
All right.
Or he's seen.
That's because
Look, I was over there in JLR's super chatting. Hold on.
Of course you were. That's how you get attention. You click and send super chats to these people and make stupid comments so you get seen when they have huge audiences. We see what you do.
Speed it up a little bit.
I
This is actually
Wait a minute. Is barbecue lady really here in chat? So y'all, I don't see her comments. They're all saying she isn't talking to her, but I don't see any comments from her. Shoot, hold up. What's that? Let me look.
that barbecue's fermented. Somebody needs to throw it away. That's garbage.
it wasn't.
I said it all fancy and shit.
TJ said it wasn't her.
Okay.
Alright.
I like how you said all fancy and shit though. I mean,
All right.
she's like, all
Nick
about-
says in the chat, he's talking about bullshit and Bobby that she called the cops on Shamefoot during the search. That's his word. He's talking about Chris Proudfoot. They should have locked him up that night.
Hey, SL, good to see you.
And that supposedly is the report that was sent to Henderson and is missing.
Nick says she called the cops on
Where she
Shanefoot
goes
during the
finding.
search. They should have locked him up that night. Very interesting what she said. That's why I kind of want to go through it again. All right, here we go, guys. Let's go. I did speed it up a little. This is the interview that JLR did with the neighbor. This is Bobby.
And so it was, she did all that and then came back. And then I guess that's when she put it on the Facebook page. But I also remember what I thought was very odd was shortly before that, another neighbor, so if their house is here, if you're going up Stafford, a little bit farther up Stafford, was actually the first one to ask, hey, what's all going on in the neighborhood? Because my older son left to go to work that morning, approximately 8 o'clock, and there was already police all up and down Stafford, like just covering it. And they were already out walking around and stuff. And so I don't know, I guess she saw some of that traffic as she was leaving to go to work, and she posted first on the Facebook page. And then Katie after that is when she posted, and I went back to find that, and that previous neighbor deleted her post.
What about Katie's
I don't know.
post?
No, the original post, the first post.
Yeah.
The,
No
the
longer
neighbor, it's gone. She had to have deleted it because you can't, if you're not the creator of the post, you can't delete someone else's post. They have to delete it. But when I went back a couple weeks after everything happened and things kind of calmed down a little bit, I was talking to somebody else and I was like, I remember,
As you guys know, they've twisted and turned the stories. We've already reviewed that. I could care less what these people have to say about that because we've already done that. Nick just makes up more allegations in the chat. When the shame feed have a lot to work with when it comes to scandalous doings during their search. The search, we have not seen any of that come out whatsoever. They're pushing a narrative. It goes on. Okay, we're going to go to the end of this, and then we're going to move on to the lawyer from today because we've seen everything we need to see here. She's being used to push a narrative to hype up this situation, and then today happened with this lawyer. Last night happened. They did it again over in her chat last night. I've got that pulled up too.
KPCP are acting like Jen and Stefan did.
Mm-hmm.
There's just so many similarities. It's eerie.
Mm-hmm.
But
We
not
all
to-
know how.
about
We all. I don't know if everyone's seen the newest. There's the videos out now of
Mhm.
Jen's.
Yeah, we're not talking about that case.
pulled him over and searched the car or whatever, and that's when they put that out. But it turns out in the end that he was in that car when they pulled it over. They just had him hidden in the car. Isn't that fucked up?
Yeah, we're moving on. I'm done.
Instruction. I could
That's
not
it.
remember the name. I was trying to remember the name. I almost said One Generation, but isn't that like a band or something? I don't know.
Yeah, no, something like that.
Nick's in there. You guys rock. Don't stay up for me though. They're like salivating over Nick. Okay, let's go to this one. All right. Rock a bit. Thank you so much. Okay, here we go. We're gonna yeah. You guys all can have your personal opinions on things in the chat, especially other creators. Feel free, but when you see things, you can't unsee it. And if you actually factually go back and connect the dots and look where the misinformation is coming from, well, we'll talk about some of it in this. We'll talk about it. So bear with me because some of you might get offended because I'm gonna shoot straight from the hip based on facts, and that might include some of your favorite creators being said what they're said about. I'm sorry, it is what it is. If you can't handle it, check out now, please. All right, let's go. This is from today. This is supposedly the attorney. Well, he's going to tell you who he is. All right.
You ready?
This is Mr. E's Crimecast. This is a brand new channel who is local in Hendersonville, Tennessee. They were ones that were filming and driving around and doing all that stuff. Their channel has been specifically built off of Sebastian's case, and they have had a bias from jump. Seth frequents their chat, and they have had a very negative connotation to the Proudfoot family.
Roll.
Let's do it.
All right.
They are also the ones that have recently been putting salacious things out there, like trying to imply that maybe Miley Cyrus is the one who paid the retainer of the $500,000 to this company to represent Seth, because in their opinions, the fact that Miley's younger brother reached out to the Lore Lodge and asked him to cover this, then that would make sense. They're just up there too. Tony Mathis is in the chat. I'm going to take that off. I'm going to take the chat off because they've removed 99% of the comments or questions in there.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
Good, Mr. E. How are you?
Great. Well, we really do appreciate you joining us. There are a lot of folks here that are excited to hear what you have to say and understand the future of the investigation with At Night. So I might just kind of, if we could start, if you wouldn't mind, to tell us a little bit about your professional background and how you became affiliated with At Night and all of these folks involved.
Sure, absolutely. First off, I always thought it scary that people are waiting to hear from an attorney, because our profession does not normally have the best reputation as to giving clear-cut and information that people can actually use or understand. We're very good at
So one thing I want to
obfuscating,
mention right off the bat is
deflecting.
this has nothing to do with the search for Sebastian. These people, he is a sole representation of Nick and Dog the Bounty Hunter. He has nothing to do with the factual searching that law enforcement or any of the investigation with Sebastian being missing. So this is where I need you to compartmentalize. He represents some of the characters who inserted themselves into this case. Now, by proxy, he is claiming that he somehow represents Seth's something in this, but they're in two different states. Seth claimed he had another attorney that represented him. It's all convoluted, but you need to keep it very separate. This has truly nothing to do with the investigation and the open investigation into the whereabouts of Sebastian Rogers. This is all to do with the characters and the sideshows that have gone on. Okay? Please try to keep it separate because this is not fair to anything with Sebastian's case. Truly.
And, and moving things around. My kids used to ask me, "What do you do for a living, Daddy?" I was like, "Well, I pick papers up from one side of my desk and I put them on the other side." Like, what do you do in between? I'm like, "I just pick them up and put them on the other side." So that's what my 8-year-old, my 11-year-old
I'll slow him back down.
I do professionally. There's, of course, a lot more to it. So I am a real lawyer. I do represent Nick the Hat, as he's known colloquially, as well as At Night and Dog the Bounty Hunter. So I figured I would get that out of the way right at the beginning because there are a lot of people I know over the past 24 hours if I exist and whether or not.
Very clear. He represents Nick the Hat is his client. Nick's company is At Night Media. And under that umbrella would be Dog the Bounty Hunter. So I don't know if they pay Dog to use his likeness and his name and his, like, get him to show up on media stuff. I'm not sure how that all works. Not sure how all the contracts would be shuffled around or anything like that. But he represents Nick the Hat, whose company is At Night Media.
I am Nick's attorney. So I can assure you, as we sit here today, that I have been Nick's attorney for a number of years. So as you can imagine, in the media realm, people get into trouble, and it happens, and things fly, and emotions fly, and this case is no different. And my client likes to kind of get in there and and be a part of things like this, whatever it is, in helping seek justice. And sometimes other people don't appreciate that. But personally, I'm a graduate of Villanova Law School. I went there. I was at Villanova University prior to that. I was on scholarship there, got a degree in political science and education, then ended up going to law school there and started out in the district attorney's office in Delaware County in Pennsylvania. It's a county right outside of Philadelphia. So it's where half the Philadelphia airport is, as I like to tell people. A very populated county in Pennsylvania, one of the fourth most populated county, and one of the smallest by area-wise. So there's about 550,000 people.
So he's just going to give you a little bit of background on him, his experience.
So we had an office of about 40 prosecutors, ended up in the special victims unit of that office, starting with domestic violence cases. I didn't understand domestic violence because I was raised by an Irish Catholic woman. So the idea of somebody hitting a woman and getting away with it was shocking to me because my mother would never allow that to happen. So it was a real eye-opener starting in that, and then moving into child abuse, child pornography cases. Pennsylvania Internet Crimes Against Children's Task Force is actually based out of Delaware County. It's one of the only state task forces that's in a local county. Most of them are either the state AG's office, Attorney General's office, or the state police. So, but our county got that and was responsible for a number of breakthroughs in investigating those cases in the early 2000s and doing cases.
So he's kind of explaining that he would be akin to the Sean Reyes, the Attorney General of Utah, with the ICAC stuff, just a different positioning of where they are up the ladder. That's what he did at the time.
Like traveler cases where people would come thinking they were going to have relations with a child. I used to do a number of those cases. Now that most of those are pleas to child abuse, child sexual.
He's just said that most of those are pleas now. Again, going back to the trafficking conversation, you'll see where this goes.
Adult sexual assault cases. And in 2012, I left the office and started my own practice on the defense side. A lot of people go, how can you switch roles?
He worked for the district attorney's office.
These are emotionally driven cases, no matter what role you're in. As a prosecutor, I always looked at what is the defense in this case, if any. And now as a defense attorney, I kind of know what the prosecution is. In fact, I was just in trial last week, and the prosecutor basically gave my closing argument that I used to give many years ago, almost word for word. I was singing along to it kind of in my mind as she was saying it. So I've been a private defense attorney for, I guess, now 10 years in my own firm. I had an opportunity to possibly move to a different firm or a bigger firm.
A lot of attorneys move from the prosecution side to private criminal defense side because the money is better, truly.
I really like actually being my own boss. There is something to that. One of the things about being a prosecutor is there's a lot of politics and public image that goes into it and being told what to do. And I never was really good at being told what to do. And I was never really good at being bullied either. And so on this side, I can kind of help people who have been bullied by the system. And there are truly honestly people who are charged with these serious crimes that are are innocent. They really, they have alibis, they have information and evidence in their favor that, the other side just doesn't want to see, and as a prosecutor, I sit there and go, well, we'll just let the jury decide. But you realize by the time you get to a jury trial in these cases, the public image has already gone out the window. The newspaper, it's interesting how the newspaper will put all the horrible stuff in, but when the acquittal happens.
That's why it's so important for factual information to be spread on these cases, because there's so many people that are wrongly convicted. That is true. 100%. In social media, I wouldn't want to jury pool of any of these people that we watch on YouTube.
They tend not to publish that, or it gets to page like 26. And so that's how I got involved with Nick many years ago. As a younger person.
Mr. Tomato Head, I'm telling you, listen to the words that they say and compare it to that. And then go back to watching Seth and Tony talk about wanting to get a 501c3 formed and off the ground. And then look at all the characters that they have associated themselves with. Sound of Freedom, #2 in the making. OUR, #2 in the making. I don't know. Kind of weird to me.
He, did some things, push the edges. He likes to kind of be on the edge there. I'm much more of a conservative. So in that realm, I try not to push necessarily the edges, but I certainly have no problem advocating for people and their rights. We have a constitution for a reason. We have civil liberties. In fact, I teach American government at the local Penn State campus. I have been doing that for 12 years, in which I remind myself every semester what our civil liberties are, what they represent, that they're not just lip service. I know when COVID hit, there was a lot of lip service and people going, are they coming back? Are we going
Talking about the pandemic.
to have these civil liberties again?
I'm telling you, extremists don't align with non-extremists. If you think about and look at all the backgrounds of every person that's associated here, you have very extremist belief systems all across the board. I don't care where you align politically. That's just the fact.
And the answer is yes, they never went away. And so, in the case at hand, Nick got involved in the situation in Dog because, they actually care. I know that people are like, oh no, they're out for the press and all that. That's not true. There are lots of cases out there, unfortunately, of child abduction and child kidnapping. This case is, has an especially heinous aspect to it, in the fact that he's autistic. That's been so long that, truly and honestly, there's been a lot of, from what I've read, a lot of missteps that have been taken. And so for Dog,
we don't know if there's been any missteps that have been taken. Law enforcement has been very active in their investigation with this case from jump.
And at night to kind of come forward and bring it to the limelight and call, not necessarily law enforcement on the carpet, but get them kind of excited to move forward is important. Certainly I was.
So he's saying, I'm going to rewind that once again so you guys can be very clear of what he's saying, why At Night got involved. Let's go to regular speed. Listen to what they're telling you. They're telling you everything.
Honestly, there's been a lot of, from what I've read, a lot of missteps that have been taken. And so for Dog and At Night to kind of come forward and bring it to the limelight and call, not necessarily law enforcement on the carpet, but get them kind of excited to move forward is important.
It's called the High Pressure Campaign.
Certainly I respect our law enforcement officers. I respect the job they do. It's not a job I want to do, without a doubt. And so to have those people protecting us day in and day out is admirable. And it's an admirable profession to go in. I know over the last several years it has been brought into question, and I sort of like the law field. One bad lawyer is like a drop of oil in a bucket.
And this is very true. What he is saying is very true. There is corruption in all sorts of government offices from top to bottom, including police departments. But to use a missing child's case to push this narrative, they use the noble causes, these extremist believers, behaviors, whatever you want to call them. They use noble causes such as trafficking, things that are actually going on. Like, these are real issues that we need to address. But they use these and come in and create a firestorm, in my opinion, to show these things. We have no indication that there's been any corruption whatsoever in Sebastian's case.
Of water, to make the whole bucket look like, bad lawyers. And the same thing with police. Law enforcement, I would say 99.9% of them are in it for the right reasons and moving in the right direction and trying to help. They really want to be public. They are public servants. And the ones I know especially, expound that to the nth degree. And we're lucky here in Delaware County to have a lot of committed law enforcement officers who keep us safe day in and day out, whatever it may be. And in this day and age, when every time I think I've seen everything, every time I said, you know what, now I've seen everything, the next thing comes along, you're like, wow, I never thought that I couldn't see everything. And
Right.
Law enforcement sees it day in and day out. Be it at 2 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, they're there on the front line. As the rest of us are ducking and running away, they're running towards it. And so for Dog and At Night to kind of come in and be helping that, and they really are.
He's saying that Dog and At Night came in to help law enforcement. We have no indication, again, zero indication that they are working with law enforcement whatsoever. putting pressure on law enforcement isn't the same as working side by side with law enforcement or being asked by law enforcement to come in. Prime example, EquiSearch came in, performed a search in Sebastian's case, worked side by side with law enforcement. You can go back to Duty Ron when he covered it and had Dave Rader and Twyla on, and they talked about when they were out doing their search. They were invited in, worked hand in hand with law enforcement, did their job, and left.
Our help. They're not trying to stick their fingers in anywhere they shouldn't. They're not.
And crazy how nobody has mentioned any of that, because there was no lies. There was nothing that they could push there. They were ran off because they weren't, along with all these other people that weren't.
Trying to take the place of law enforcement or the investigation, without a doubt. They really are there to try and help the process along, and I truly believe that. Unfortunately, there are other people that are not necessarily doing that, and that's unfortunately why I have to get involved. Normally the legal team does not have to get involved unless problems arise. Like I tell people, I give an award out to our local high school every year, where my wife and I actually went to school.
So basically, he's filling you with a bunch of fluff. There's really nothing of substantial, anything that he's saying at this point in time. He's saying that he represents Nick at Night Media. Dog is under that umbrella some way, shape, or form. And they came in and interjected themselves in this missing child's case. That's basically where we're at. And yeah,
that's how local I am. Literally, I live 5 minutes from where I am sitting right now, where I work. And I grew up there, literally in the same house. So I always tell
you would think they're starstruck, Hartley, the way they're just like, oh my God, this is amazing.
That, nobody calls a lawyer because something went right. Nobody says, oh, I had a great car accident. And I'm really just calling to tell you how great the car accident was, or the surgery was awesome, or the police pulled me over, but I didn't get in any trouble. They really just thanked me for driving well. Nobody ever does that. People only call lawyers when things are going awry. And the same is true with any of my clients, and I'm always here for them, no matter what it is, so when things start happening on the internet with issues with fake news and fraud and what's being said and what's not being said, I thought, okay, well, that's Nick kind of getting, sticking his nose into things and getting it slapped down, like, but then.
Nick has been a big source of misinformation. I can go back and fact check you if you would like me to, Mr. Lesnick. I would love for you to come on and answer a bunch of my questions, because I can point out and do clip by clip of the misinformation that he has intentionally misinformed people of. If you'd like to, I would love that. Probably wouldn't happen.
When my name got out there and they started espousing about me and who I was, that, I take that very, very personally. I've been working my entire career. All lawyers have is our reputation. We can't fix a toilet. I can't put a light in my house. I can't put a roof on. Really, the only thing I have are my words and my reputation. And so when somebody brings that into question, I start realizing, okay, this is not just Nick, sticking his nose into things, and then people making nice comments.
There has been so much misinformation from jump.
These are people who really are out to attack him and Dog in a situation where they don't deserve that.
We have no indication that Dog's even remotely involved. He's been on one interview thus far. That's it. That's all we know about Dog's involvement. Dog's a bounty hunter. I mean, this is just wild.
And so, and this same thing happened. I was involved. This is kind of a funny story in the Cosby case. On a side note, so I was not part of.
So another name drop of Bill Cosby.
Legal team in Montgomery County. I was in charge of taking care of his citations. So after he was convicted and sent to jail, the local town cited him for rubbish and unkept grass. Now, exactly how he was supposed to keep the grass and take out the rubbish when he was in state prison, I don't know. But I did help the family out in dealing with local. I know Mrs. E's over there giggling a little bit, because it is. You sit there going, really, that the man has been convicted and defamed in the media and his entire career, whether what you agree or not agree. But then to kind of add on, we're going to file these 6 citations, local ordinance citations for unkept grass and rubbish.
I mean, just because somebody's a celebrity doesn't mean they don't have to take care of their yard.
It's just it was kind of a little humorous, and we were able to take care of that for him in a small set. So those are the kinds of things that I get involved with, because I constantly see people being bullied by the system and other people using the system to bully.
That happens.
And I see it on a daily basis.
Sure.
And one of the big questions is, why does Nick have a criminal attorney representing him? And that is because, Nick has had some criminal issues without a doubt. You can look on it; it's public, very public. But I'm not just a criminal attorney. I just want to give people a little lesson in the law. I am a certified lawyer in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. So I passed the Pennsylvania bar exam in 2003. I continue my continuing ed, and I can practice law anywhere in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, including out in Western Pennsylvania. I just want to say that, as well as I can practice any type of law that is within the legal statute. So even though I specialize in criminal law, I certainly have experience in other areas of the law, and I can write a cease and desist and file an injunction.
So that's what he was brought in for, was writing a cease and desist.
Without a doubt. So just to leave.
And I want to back that up once again, because I want you to hear how he worded that.
That is within the legal statute. So even though I specialize in criminal law, I certainly have experience in other areas of the law, and I can write a cease and desist and file an injunction without a doubt. So
he can file an injunction without a doubt. He's not saying he did file an injunction. He's saying he can file one without a doubt. Okay, so he served a cease and desist on somebody else who is in Pennsylvania. That's what we know. Chasing, I agree with you. Social media causes all, and thank you for being a member over here. This is truly nothing he said this far is problematic, though. I'll be honest. Like, there's a lot of fluff here, not a lot of substance. But I mean, again, he's representing Nick and Dog, and then Nick's company was retained by someone, somehow, some way, something in there for Seth.
Just alleviate all concern is whether I have the legal ability to do that, and the standing and the jurisdiction, I do.
I'm not really sure who was questioning his legal ability. We all knew over here, I covered it right away, that he was a legit attorney and who he represented in Chasing, didn't you do a whole video on this guy? Or was it Bruce Castor you did the video? I can't remember which one you did a video on.
They are right outside of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. I am not a certified lawyer in Tennessee. I never practiced in Tennessee, but the situation at hand as being dealt with deals with a Pennsylvania resident, and I can practice law in all 67 counties in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and I can move myself into, or have another attorney move me into, any federal court of standing, as long as I have a bar license and pay the money. So just so everybody's aware that where my jurisdiction begins.
Okay, so he's just explaining how he can move in. Okay, that makes sense.
Ends. So that is I know I went on in a narrative. I apologize. I know if I was in court, I would have objected to this narrative, because and at one time, actually, last week in court, I did object, and the judge was like, "What's the basis?" I was like, I just need to slow down that witness, because she was just on a binge that did not go well. So that sometimes that us lawyers do that. I do not get paid by the word, though, much to my chagrin. Otherwise, I'd be very rich just in this last 10 minutes. So.
Well, you actually answered some of the questions we had anyway, because there were questions about credentials and things like that, and that helps us to dispel some of the rumors that were out there. And I think we mentioned before we came on that you've got your degree right behind you. So that
I'm going to tell you guys up front that you are not going to like my response to what's going on here. You're not. A lot of you won't. Some of you will expect it. Some of you are not going to like my position on this. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. I'm sorry, but some of these people walk themselves into it. I've been trying to warn a few people that I care about, people that I coexist with on this app, that the games were going to be amplified. We knew that this was the arena that they were going to push it to. We saw the writing on the wall. You cannot play stupid games with these people and think you're going to get away with it. This is where they like to go. They love to go into the court. The writing was on the wall. And I'm sorry, I'm going to say a whole lot about some of this upcoming.
That'll your license and everything.
Yeah, that's my undergraduate, and then my law degree is so that's my Pennsylvania Supreme Court saying I can practice law. So yes, I can assure you that was not by that was just by coincidence. This is where I do. It just happened when you mentioned that yes, they are there. They're hung there proudly. I suffered through law school and undergrad. I always tell people, I have a paralegal probably just as experienced as I am, but I got the piece of paper.
Right.
So
I understand.
They call me the lawyer.
Do you mind if I ask a quick
Sure,
question? Okay, so as we were talking about backstage, there's a few people who think that your Twitter account is fake. The one that's been
He also has a YouTube account.
that you've been posting some of the stuff with the cases and warnings and things. And so I thought I would let you dispel that. And then also there was another question. They want our chat is asking for clarity on who you represent. So just to be clear, if you wouldn't mind to go through everybody that you represent on as far as this case goes. Not everybody in the world. Yeah.
So yeah. So I do represent Dog the Bounty Hunter, At Night Corporation, as well as the owners of or the lead members of At Night, including Huang Li, as well as Nick Hasistafal as well. So
so Hong and Nick own At Night Media Corporation.
That's how you say it. Okay.
And Dog fits in some of their under that umbrella.
I've been years and years, and it's probably not correct, but I just say quick enough that it just sounds like one. It has several vowels, and I know that Nick's probably listening, so I apologize for continuing to brutalize your name. He's probably laughing his head off right now because, but yeah, I think if you slow it down, Hasistafal, or something like that. It's a good Greek name. It makes Lesniak seem easy, so that's why I really like him as a client more than anything else. Is that Lesniak then becomes a really easy Polish name versus his Greek name. But yeah, so those are the parties I represent in this matter jointly for this specific matter. Certainly, if they're individualized, other issues, that's not necessarily what I'm retained for.
Okay. And then
pacing. I have a feeling we're going to be on the same page with what I'm about to say upcoming. I have a feeling we will be.
As far as my Twitter account, yes, that is my Twitter account. It is not fake. I do have I do not pay Nick to do my marketing. I have a marketing firm. I don't know if I can give a shameless plug for them, but Esquire Digital out of New Jersey is wonderful. They are founded by people who used to be with FindLaw, and they're great. And I pay them to do all my SEO, my website, my Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. So they do all of my social media. They help me with creating blogs and doing some of the videos that I think were shown last night of me. And I know this is not a comb over, it is a part, just so you know. So I'm not necessarily going bald. This is the way my hair has been. Although I feel like with the 2 kids and wife, there might be some graying that's going on.
Right.
But I know there was some questions about my hair care, and I do appreciate the concern that people had about doing my comb over. And I don't use product in my hair. That's usually a question people ask. This is natural this way. So we'll dispel that rumor as well on this show. So I'm glad. That we got all that stuff out of the way. And this is a really tight tie. It's not a clip-on, so I tie my own ties every morning. So I figured that might be a question. I'll just dispel.
He's got a very dry, he's got a very attorney-ish sense of humor, and you can tell he's like uncomfortable about these things, but he's like, okay, they're taking cracks at me. Let me address these couple things. Like, he's very attorney-ish to me.
Know that now.
Good to get ahead of them, and those are important questions.
Yeah, good to get. I'm sure there's going to be other questions, So,
well, I think what most of the folks are going to be really interested in at this point too is are these cease and desist letters, and I think there's questions about what because we really don't know. We have heard it.
Now, reminder: this isn't the first set of cease and desist that went out. There was also a section of cease and desist that went out months ago from an attorney in Tennessee. So why this one is getting so much more fuss and circumstance, I'm not really sure. Those were not, as everybody knows, nobody abided by any of those cease and desists and completely laughed them off like they didn't exist.
There are some potential criminal acts that have occurred, maybe defamation. Death threats are very concerning. And so how much of that can we discuss today as far as what's happened?
And so, yes, I guess we can publicly talk about the cease and desist because the other side has put it out there. I think they published them, and that's fine. Truly and honestly.
So he's specifically talking about Barbecue Lady from TikTok. And she did do, I don't know what she did on TikTok yesterday. I don't know if she showed them. I don't know. But I know that she obviously had talked to a bunch of people behind the scenes about her getting this. I don't know if she sent them to people. I'm not sure. I'm not privy to any of that. But people were widely aware that she got this. She took panel, read sections of it.
As a lawyer, if they weren't, I wouldn't talk about them because, until something's filed in court, and on the public record, we try.
Yes, Mr. Tomato Head, I learned that today.
Try to be discreet with people and try and handle this discreetly. I don't think discreet is in the vocabulary of a lot of these people that we're dealing with. But yes.
Welcome to YouTube.
A cease and desist letter along with a proposed injunction that could be.
With a proposed injunction. So all this talk about a federal injunction, we talked about that last night. There is a whole process that would have to be done. It would be filed in the court of law. All of this stuff would have to be done. But he talked about and included that in his cease and desist of a proposed injunction. Not that one has been filed. Again, Nick has been spewing all sorts of stuff. But this is very specific, a proposed injunction. Not that there has been one filed. That would be the next step.
Filed, was sent and mailed certified the other day, basically claiming, as you said, the defamation, slander, and libel, because in Pennsylvania especially, the Pennsylvania Constitution gives everybody a right to the reputation. So it's not necessarily spelled out in the United States Constitution, but it's certainly spelled out in the Pennsylvania Constitution, the right to your reputation. So a lot of people think the First Amendment is absolute. As somebody who teaches the First Amendment in an American government class at Penn State, it is not an absolute right. You do not.
Betty, are you listening to this guy?
Not have a right to say whatever you want, whenever you want. You cannot yell fire in a crowded theater. Although I tell my students you can yell theater in a crowded fire.
You can't accuse people of murmuring their child without proof. You can't accuse people of doing a lot of stuff. You can't say a lot of stuff without there being ramifications of that. He ain't wrong on this.
There's no liability against that. But you cannot yell fire in a crowd theater. I saw that book. Yeah, I am a dad, Mr. East, and I think you get the book of corny jokes when you become a dad, according to my kids.
Yes.
Everybody finds me funny, but my wife too. I don't know what it is, but everybody else thinks I'm hilarious. And I try all my stuff out on my 8 and 11-year-old, and if they laugh, and then usually everybody else finds it funny. But you cannot slander somebody or defame somebody. You can't put out information that is patently false and claim it as true.
Sir, you might want to check your client's postings then, or the things that he's saying, because we don't have any basis of fact of some of his claims.
You can put that this is my opinion, sure. There have been death threats made to Sebastian's dad, Seth, as well as another gentleman, Tony Mathis.
So he's verbatim saying that death threats have been made to Seth and also Tony, who have retained At Night Media, which his client's group. So if they can prove that there's been death threats made, they have plenty to file for a cease and desist and also take it to the cops.
Who has been involved in this case as well, and as well as to At Night and my clients. I don't know why. There was also a group that came up before our involvement to help out with the search that also left because they were getting death threats. I can't imagine why.
That was the United Cajun Navy, and they made a police report to Nashville PD in Davidson County, but we don't know what that all entailed.
Anybody would threaten somebody who is trying to help find a young man with autism who's been missing now for over 6 months. I mean, to me, my theory is whoever's willing to help out and lend a hand, why wouldn't you take that hand and use it to find this young man, which is, I feel like we're losing.
Again, I agree with him that nobody should be receiving threats, but when your client, in my opinion, Nick, has made bold accusations against one side because he and his company represent another side of it without factual basis, it's kind of a little bit of a line that you're going back and forth on. That's my opinion.
Sight of that with all of this kind of rhetoric and baloney. And that's why I told my clients, it's unfortunate that we have to do this. It's unfortunate I have to come on and prove that I exist as a lawyer and have to file these cease and desist and potential injunctions, because
potential injunctions.
At the end of the day, what's really important here is a young man, a 15-year-old young man, being found safe and sound and brought back to his family where he deserves to be, and that we kind of lose sight, or we've lost sight of that.
Notice he did say brought back to his family. He didn't just say one side.
As we kind of layer on these
even though his clients represent only one side of that.
These YouTubes and these chats and this information and this misinformation, and it doesn't help anybody. It certainly doesn't help Sebastian's case at all. So, the hope is that people can calm down and keep their eye on what is important here.
The hope is that people will calm down while we intentionally amp them up. Okay, that doesn't quite make sense.
And so, we all have backgrounds and pasts that you can harp on, but moving forward, it would be much better to move forward as a cohesive group.
In my opinion, this is kind of a posturing thing.
Trying to find concerned citizens.
I'm not impressed, as you can say the least.
And bounty hunters and other people to try and find this young man and move this case onto what I hope will be a happy ending.
Thankfully, law enforcement is the lead agency investigating this case and this disappearance.
At some point.
Right. Yes, we're all praying for that. Can I ask, have charges been filed as far as the death threats goes, like criminal or authorities aware of this and handling that?
So there are no charges have been filed that I am aware of. Of course, private citizens cannot file charges. As you know, only the state can file criminal charges. As whether or not law enforcement is involved.
Y'all, he knows exactly who he's representing. He's represented Nick for a long time. He knows exactly who his client is, and he knows exactly who he is. Again, do your research. This is what they do. They know exactly what they're doing here.
Yes, they have been contacted and provided the information. There's also some wiretapping issues that have gone on that have been published. You cannot in Pennsylvania unless you have special consent.
Okay, so this wiretapping thing, I want to talk about this a little extensively after he's completed. But people might be missing the boat on some of that.
Through a prosecutor's office, you cannot record somebody's voice without their permission. So we are two-way consent. There's only one exception to that, and that's a consensual phone intercept that has to be handled through a prosecutor's office and done through that, and a certain process has to be followed. Otherwise.
Okay, so what he's referencing right here is he's talking about a phone call from Tony Mathis directly to Barbecue Lady. Now, that phone call happened while she was live. Where this is going to get sticky is, did she tell him she was live streaming? Was he aware that he was being broadcast on a public social media app? It's going to get sticky because she's in Pennsylvania, he's in Oklahoma. People are like, well, it was he was on live stream. Well, we'll see how they're going to try to maneuver that one. We'll see how they play that. But again, not really sure how that's coming into play because if Tony is not if he's not retained by Seth, Seth would be their client. Seth would have been the one to retain At Night Media, who is represented by this guy. So why that would even be a piece of this too is confusing. So we've got a few different factors working into this whole thing at once, and it's a little bit muddy.
Recording somebody's voice surreptitiously and then utilizing that publicly can be a crime in and of itself here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
There's been a lot of recorded phone calls, a lot.
Right. From what I can tell, there's been some of that going on as well. Again, private citizens, my clients cannot file charges. I cannot file charges. Only the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania or the United States can file charges against somebody criminally. So the only thing a private citizen can do is file a civil case against somebody if they feel it rises to that level.
So at this point,
I'm not sure how that whole thing works out, though, because if that's the call that they're talking about with Tony Mathis, which is the only thing that even makes sense, that is a whole, how is he represented by At Night Media when supposedly Seth didn't necessarily retain him or is paying him? I'm not sure how this is all going to fall out.
Authorities are aware of it, and if they want to pursue charges, that's sort of at their discretion and they're
absolutely their discretion. We're not, we provide the information, we provide whatever they ask. Again, we're not going to stick our fingers or our noses in that area as well. That is, for law enforcement to deal with as they see fit. And we understand they are very busy with other cases. And again, like I said at the beginning, have the utmost respect for law enforcement, and prioritizing is a hard thing for them because there are serious cases that come in that require attention.
Wiretapping, that was interesting. I think this happens a great deal in YouTube where people record people without their knowledge and then release video, and we've seen this happen quite a bit actually. So I'm not even sure who we're speaking of, but that's good knowledge for other. There's a lot of creators in our audience tonight or this morning, and so I'm sure that's an interesting thing to keep in the back of your mind depending on which state you're in. So that's great for them to know to avoid any trouble, I think, in the future.
Actually,
absolutely.
Or stop recording calls for nefarious purposes to release for content on social media.
This is the reason why when you get those phone messages, it says this is being recorded for educational purposes, or or if you contact a prison, this is being recorded. They have to inform you of it. Or if you leave a voicemail, of course, then you're being recorded. And as soon as you know you're being recorded, then
Chasing, I know he says that. I know he says that he represents Tony by extension, but how does that extension work? It's going to come down to contracts and stuff like that. Like, I truly don't know. Anybody can send a cease and desist. Let's be honest. It doesn't need to be an attorney. So anybody can say anything in a cease and desist and send it. It'll depend on like how they push this and where they go with it. But there's a lot of muddy waters here. Nothing's as clear cut as he's making it sound like. There's a lot of iffy things here.
Then that goes out the window. And video recording is different. So you can video somebody in a public place. You cannot video them in somewhere where they.
I think Barbecue Lady claims she has an attorney already, had an attorney previous to this.
Have an expectation of privacy. So of course, like the peeping Tom cases are not legal. You cannot go into a tree and record somebody in their bedroom changing. That is certainly legal. Right. But if you have a camera outside your house, or there are cameras, street cams, all that, they are legal because you have no expectation of privacy as far as your image is concerned out in public.
I would love to know the type of contracts that at night, like it's so weird. Like this is all just really weird. But I think his purpose was solely to say that, yes, he's an attorney and yes, he sent cease and desist like to one person and they claiming that they're doing it further. I think the rollout of this is really odd. To me, there's nothing really. I mean, this was kind of to be expected that the waters were going to get even muddier. None of this is shocking to me at all. I hate to say that, but it's not.
Right.
Could I ask too, does it matter where the call originates from? As long as it's going into Pennsylvania?
Correct.
Okay.
As long as there's a connection to Pennsylvania.
Actually, I disagree with you, Georgia. Tony wasn't a factor until the end of April, beginning of May, and the games had already started before Tony got involved. Seth is in charge. Seth has picked his team. He's gotten rid of his team members, no matter which way you want to look at it. Unfortunately, it goes back to Seth. It's not all Tony's doing. No. Tony is a factor, of course, but no. Seth has been very transparent about he picked these people. This is his choices. He's in charge. He's the boss. Tony wasn't even invited into the arena until the end of April.
Because there are other states that do not have, where you require the two-way consent. So
okay,
interesting.
And then actually, this we had a super chat.
I'll tell you guys what I think this is. I think there are certain creators that have been very boastful about their contact with the Proudfoot side. In fact, we saw Nick post on Twitter a screenshot of Clue in his text, or what he's alleging is Clue's text. And in that text message, if it is from her, she says that she is very involved in this case. That's not verbatim. Actually, let me just read you these texts. Now, again, I don't have proof that these are 100% from her, but this is what he's alleging and what he posted. The text message says, "Hi, I'm Cluminati, and I'm very involved in the Sebastian Rogers case. I am just a lowly YouTube personality, but I do talk to Chris and Katie daily, his parents." And then the response was, "I'll be free later today. Text my personal cell." And then she says, "Will do." I truly believe that what they're doing is they're picking certain people who have been very vocal about their communications with the Proudfoots, because I think that some people do believe that people are being paid to do stuff on behalf of Chris and Katie. Now, do we know that if that is her, as he's alleging, do we know that she is actually in contact with them every day? No. Do we know anything really as fact? No, we don't. But I have a feeling that if Seth believes that they are encouraging her to do things or setting things up, Barbecue Lady was in Tennessee. Chris and Katie took her flyers. That's been turned into a whole shit show. I have a feeling that they're going to try to posture this to try and gain access to messages, calls, emails. Word to the wise, be very careful if you're emailing with these people, because you yourself and all of the back and forth that's going on the back end could absolutely be pulled into this.
And this question actually goes along with what we're talking about, so I'm going to go ahead and allow it.
Closer to you asks, how can I ask how the threats are given? Text, email, phone calls, etc. Many ways can be traced, correct?
Yeah, so I mean the threat.
Mom of a gladiator. I don't make anything of it because I can't tell you if that's true or not. That if she's in contact with them every day, I have no clue. I find it really weird that if she's representing it that way and that's not happening, why would she do that? Why would she reach out to Nick the Hat? I don't know. Like, he came in trying to agitate the situation. So why would somebody use their relationship with the parents of a missing child to, I don't know. I've got a lot of questions. Again, there's a lot of connections here that people refuse to see. She reached out to Barbecue Lady. She said that publicly numerous times, that she actually reached out to Barbecue Lady. And that was after she knew, because she knew, I sent her the proof of that when I used to talk to her, that Barbecue Lady had a tip line. And she reached out to her, and here comes Barbecue Lady, and all this shit starts falling apart. I don't know. I got a lot of questions. People probably don't want me to have these questions, but I do. And I don't trust a fucking soul. Okay. And I don't like nobody. And I also don't like people who use their relationship with the parents of a missing child to do shit like this. I think it's gross. But I think Nick, if Seth believes that they are having these people do things on their behalf, they want to know what the fuck is going on. And they're going to use whatever they can to try and get insight to it. I don't think Chris and Katie are paying a single soul. That is my personal belief. I don't think Chris and Katie have anything to do with a lot of this shit at all. I think they wanted awareness for their child, and people have weaponized that, and here we are.
Threats have come over as far as text messages and emails. So yes, they can be traced. There are ways to kind of disguise yourself for people who are tech savvy, unfortunately. But at the end of the day, they can ultimately be traced to somewhere. Where that is becomes the big question. There's VPN.
My biggest issue with all of that is it just causes unneeded stress and problems for the Proudfoot family. And that's been one of my biggest complaints all along, is creators think it's some sort of into something, it's this weird, I talk to them every day, kind of thing. Like, and what it looks like is she reached out to him. If that's her, like, why are we doing that? Why is that happening? That's fucking weird. Again, it goes back to, it's about content over concern of a missing child, in my opinion.
That can help mask you, unfortunately. But you're not absolutely anonymous on the internet and through email, just so you know. I mean, that was the Internet Crimes Against Children's Task Force, without a doubt. That's what we did, was try to eliminate the anonymity. It was our task force that first started going on to places like shareware sites and Bearwire and things like that, Frostwire, able to actually download and find out where images and videos are being traded, because that's where the next step was. After people realized you could get caught sending emails of these images, they started going on to shareware. And it was actually the Pennsylvania ICAC, along with the University of Massachusetts, that came up with the program to allow the internet crimes to police shareware sites and shareware programs and things like that. So yeah, so anonymity on the internet is not what you think it is.
Right. What could I ask too then about, so as far as the cease and desist, and you may not be able to talk specifically about people that have not published theirs yet, but are there overall themes and issues that are specific that we could, things that are happening that maybe maybe other YouTubers might want to avoid as pitfalls that are getting them in some trouble as far as the line between free speech and defamation or whatever these major issues seem to be.
Yeah, they're publishing statements. I think there's one about finding Sebastian's pants in a location that has never been proven or shown or evidence whatsoever of that.
So that was actually Terry Lynn was the person who found the pants. Let's just set the stage here and be realistic about what they're talking about. Terry Lynn was who claimed she found this pair of pants. Now, Terry Lynn did say that they were not Sebastian's. She went back and checked with the police department and they told her that they were not Sebastian's. That's Terry Lynn's words, not mine. But somehow, some way, the other night, there was a conversation on TikTok that got broadcasted to YouTube via Jay. I think it was on her Everyday with Jay page, if I'm correct. Let me go look, actually, while I'm talking about this. On her Everyday, let me see, Everyday with Jay. Give me 1 second. I think it's this page, but she broadcasted that entire conversation to YouTube. And in that conversation, that got mentioned, these pants. And lo and behold, is this it? Sure as hell is. Hold on. I'll just show you guys what I'm talking about. Let me transcript this right quick and I'll just show you guys if it's got the transcript on it. Oh, it does. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Talk amongst yourself for a second. But anyways, this gets brought up. So they're talking about the conversation about these pants, right? So here, let's just go over here. Let me go back up here. Give me 1 second. I don't like to just say things. I like to show them. So this is what, in my feelings, they're talking about. So this is, again, from Everyday with Jay. This is a conversation that she broadcast that she was a part of from TikTok.
To make some things make sense.
It's going to fill in some of the pieces of the puzzle.
Well,
You connect the dots.
so thank you so much. I just want to say that, and then I'm going to mute so you can go on.
You're good.
I was just going to say, I want to add on to that. Barbecue brought that out, and she is not lying about those pants belonging to Sebastian.
Whose voice do you hear right there? Oh, that's Clue. That's Clue saying that Barbecue isn't lying about those pants being Sebastian's.
A size, well, they were just too small.
Yep, they were his, just a couple of sizes too small.
And that's Tammy V, once again, saying that those were his pants.
And Jay, I just want to say I accept your apology, and I'm sorry that I made the video replaying your live the other day and commentating on it, but that was just kind of like my whatever. But I accept your apology, and we're just going to move forward.
I get it. And thank you so much. I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, it's just, integrity,
Absolutely. And I appreciate that. Can I ask you about the pants? I mean, I know you probably don't want to say how you confirmed it, but are we assuming that they might be, they would have been like pants that he didn't fit in anymore that were at someone's house that were, kind of given to someone to put out there? Or what are we thinking about that?
I don't know if they were given for someone to put out there, but your line of thinking is correct.
Yeah.
So we have no indication whatsoever that those pants had anything to do. Actually, quite the opposite. But this was brought up today on Queen Bee's panel. Like, Queen was like, wait, who said that about the pants? You notice Queen isn't on this panel right now, but Clue was on Queen's panel when this was asked. And Clue was sitting right here taking part in this conversation saying, Barbecue, why did she become so quiet during that? Again, there's no proof whatsoever. In fact, quite the opposite, that those pants had anything to do with Sebastian. But they go on to talk more, and there's more salacious shit that is brought up about these pants.
You're on the right road.
This is my processing of what I witnessed myself. So
the pants wouldn't have anything to do with Nick and Dog. The pants would have something to do with salacious, nefarious rumors being started about the parents of a missing child, aka Seth Rogers, and I'm going to continue to play this for you, who is represented by Nick's company At Night Media, who is represented by Joseph Lesniak. You see? So Seth is represented by At Night Media, who is owned by Nick. So that's why this would be a sticky situation.
This is kind of like my thought. Terry Lynn went searching in that area 2 days in a row. She literally publicly said that the day she found the pants, that was her second time out there. She didn't want to tell anybody where she was at because she didn't want threatened or harassed. Okay. So in my humble opinion, I feel like Terry Lynn planted the pants the day before. And this is why I think that.
They came from Seth.
So there's a few of us that obviously have our phone numbers and whatnot. And if you have the pleasure of having an iPhone, you know what screen sharing is. And so myself and Tammy, and I don't remember who else.
I actually have a screen recording of that when Terry Lynn found those pants and how that all went down. And it's shocking to watch it be rewritten.
Actually on the call, but regardless, we had received a message that Terry Lynn, it was blown up everywhere. Okay. Terry Lynn found a pair of pants, yada, yada, yada. Okay. Obviously everybody's going to go watch that. So we went over to YouTube.
And the beat goes on. You can discuss anything you want on whatever platform you want. But when you're filling shit with a bunch of salacious misinformation, I guess don't be shocked when you get sent a cease and desist by the attorney that represents the company that's representing the parent of a missing child. I'm not sure what's so hard to read here. And when we're saying that salacious, nefarious misinformation about Chris and Katie shouldn't be spread, we should have the same energy for the people spreading it against Seth, right? Sure should.
I'm on a phone call. I'm like, I'm going to screen share this so we can all see it.
And to whoever that person is, the beat goes on. One thing you'll learn over here, this is the first time I've ever seen you, so either you changed your account name or are new to my channel. One thing you'll learn about me is I don't like any of the fuckery. I don't have a side in this. It's all disgusting and implying or setting up misinformation to imply that the father is involved in something, asking questions to paint narratives against the bio father doesn't help anybody in this situation. Because currently, if we're following the facts of this case, there's no indication from law enforcement that Seth, Chris, or Katie are involved in the disappearance of Sebastian. I base shit on fact, not feelings, and not loyalty to fucking strangers that have a goddamn platform on the internet and sell you rumors. I'm loyal to the victims, their voices, and their stories. And the continued harassment of this family on all ends has been disgusting. That's where I stand. Welcome to the fucking island.
And she was at the point where she was bitching about the officer not wanting to cross the river because his pants were pleated and he didn't want to ruin his pants, and that they were wandering across the bank line, and she was trying to locate the spot where she had found them. And she kept saying like, oh, it's a little bit further, maybe it's over here. Like she was trying to like recall how far she had gone down the river. So for me, I was like, okay, let's go back.
And for all of you that are new here, Terry Lynn has been sketch as fuck. Terry Lynn has been a problem from jump. Go back to March 18th when she had Seth on for a 5-hour interview. Go back to when she was recording phone calls and getting them to Nina of Chris Proudfoot. Terry Lynn has been a foundational part of the misinformation. She has sent intentional misinformation to creators who don't fact check anything, who run with it. Terry Lynn was once patted on the back by a lot of these creators who now don't like her, who were running with her narratives for quite some time. Terry Lynn was also the source of a poker party that didn't exist.
And I rewound the video, okay, to the point where she was walking around this big uprooted but rooted tree. And if anybody remembers that video, it was cutting in and out. It was freezing. The camera was on the ground. It was zoomed in. Like there's some things I remember to a fucking T, and this is one of them. And she's panning around the tree. Now, mind you, we had rewound. So when you stop a live on YouTube and then you go and private it, it's going to stop everybody from even viewing the rewind. I know you know this, Jay, because the other night at 1:30 in the morning or whatever, Terry Lynn privated her fucking video that you were watching.
Yep.
Okay. So before that had happened, she's panning around on the ground. I didn't really think about it completely, but I never forgot it. But she's on the ground and she said, let me put the phone really close and say this. Let me think. That is what she said. And after meeting her the other day and being able to firsthand in person observe how she talked and her like mannerisms and things like that, I believe she was out in the woods talking to herself. And I think that she was trying to really think, where the fuck did I hide these pants at? If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But that's my humble fucking opinion.
Can I piggyback on that story?
Sure.
All right. So she finds the pants. The part that I saw, see, you can't watch 12 hours of this woman, you know? So the part that I saw was where they were in the water and she called the police to have them come get.
If you want to go watch the rest of that, that's over on Jay's channel. Let's get back to this. But yeah, there is absolute need to question some of this. And I'm sorry, I'm going to say it again for those coming in the back that are obviously supporters of TikTok twits. I don't fuck around with anybody that likes to create tip lines. Oh, excuse me, a non-tip line that says tips for Sebastian, a grown-ass adult who creates an email address to take tips on a missing fucking child. Do I think everything she does is sketch? 100%. Do I think I'm going to ever retract that? Fuck no. Because I'm sorry, this is a missing child. And these characters, including Barbecue and others, have inserted themselves as main characters in a missing child's case. I don't fuck around with people like that. I got no use for people like that. Never will. But then when you hem and haw and push off false narratives to paint something against the father because you don't like the guy, but yet you were out there all buddied up with him in the beginning and then flip-flopped, nah, miss me with the shit. I got no use for that shit. Anyways, carry on. Let's go back to the attorney. But that's probably the source of why they're saying that. I mean, shocking.
So basically false information, defamation of people's character and making statements about them that are defamatory. Nick, is not hidden. He is on parole right now for criminal acts, and they're basically flooding the internet saying to contact his parole and probation officer and say that he's in Tennessee, where in violation of his parole or doing other things.
Now that's going to be a sticky one for me because he intentionally tried to make people believe that he was there by what he was doing. So again, take it for what you will.
I can assure you my client has not been in the state of Tennessee while he's on probation or parole, because I know, because he comes to my office on a very regular basis. So those kinds of lies are leading into potential.
Chasing with my eyes closed. I keep hearing people talk about needing a whiteboard. Motherfuckers, I've had 2 whiteboards going the entire time, and I've got 3 notebooks going of notes. Sure as fuck could. Sure could. Oh, and by the way, just to fact check this too, because I made this claim on Queen Bee's panel too about Barbecue Lady, that she likes to use the term, the R word. You know what I'm talking about. People were like, why didn't you source that? You don't have any proof of that. Oh yeah, I do. It's called Dr. Vance, aka Traders Clip Channel. She's got one little live stream of it being said, but it's used quite often. And I don't hang out with adults that say that either and then say that they're doing something on behalf of a special needs child. Yeah, fuck you. But just to fact check you can go look at Dr. Vance. She has screen recordings of some of their live streams from TikTok, and there's one in there specifically that has her using that term and admitting to using that term, and then goes on to make excuses for using that term.
Criminal issues and violations that are specific problems that are coming out, as well as defaming dog. There's things about dog injecting people with truth serum without their permission and wanting to give them truth serum, things like that. That is completely false, debunked. There's lies about whether the reward is actually real, or is it just something that's made up to, and what it is it's hampering the investigation. So why, forget, okay, you have my client. Yes, you can, say that he.
In my opinion, the whole truth serum was just to get attention on stuff, and it worked. Again, these are professionals at doing this. This is what they do. They professionally antagonize people. That's the goal, and it works, unfortunately.
And
of course he's going to CYA on this. I mean,
convicted of this, that, and whatever. It's all public news. But to sit there and hamper an investigation trying to find a 15-year-old young man is mind.
Yeah, it was said, but he's declining.
Boggling to me. Why would you do that? And so a lot of these issues, kind of connect.
He's actually the one that came back out and corrected the statement that was made too. I don't. Maybe it was his PR company that corrected it, and he didn't have nothing to do with it. I don't know.
My clients and are hampering the investigation, and so that's where I get most concerned about. My clients are big boys and girls; they can handle their own. Another one, a gentleman at Night Hong, they called him Hong.
Let me tell you how I feel about Jay for Justice. Who just said that about Jay for Justice? I'm going to tell you my honest opinions there and take it for what it is. I've never backed down from this, and I still won't. So anybody remember the fake dog handler stuff that claimed that she jet set it over on a private jet to Tennessee to search for Sebastian and all this stuff, and everybody was just falling over themselves about that? Well, we debunked that in real time. In fact, while she was on hosting this panel, we tried to get Julia earlier in the day to really be aware of what she was getting into because we already knew it was a bunch of bullshit. But meanwhile, she's live and she's being told, sent super chats that the lady was full of shit, that she was misleading her, that she was misinforming people. She saw all of that coming in and actively continued on with the story that this dog handler was doing all of this stuff and being ran off, and all this stuff happened to the dog handler. You can go watch that in real time too. And she ignored it all, finally ended her show, and then went out and cut that out. But do you know how many bullshit stories we've heard about these dog handlers ever since? Yeah, 5 months of bullshit over dog handlers that were never dog handlers to begin with, but were platformed by people with over 100,000 subs that have a responsibility, you would think, especially if they're covering missing children. There's that. And she was aligned with Terry Lynn. And then now she's got a problem with Terry Lynn's. Yeah, I'm sorry. Miss me with all that shit.
Calm in a racist and xenophobic manner that really was, like I said, he's a big boy. We're not overly concerned about that one, but it just shows the kind of people we're dealing with. Why can't we, if you have, I've never been taught to fight with a fist.
Wait, did somebody really make a comment, something about butchering children? Soon they will stop our children from being butchered. Too late for you. Sorry, you wasn't comfortable in your own body. I know you remember Stacy. Are you okay? Are you okay? And the beat goes on. It doesn't sound like it. Huh? Who's Stacy? Stacy's mom has got it going on. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Okay. Anywho, shout out to Chewy.
Or swords. I fight with my words, but we can have civility, and you can show civility and respect for your fellow man and the plight that all of us, the life that we're all going through. And I feel like civility has been taken, shredded through a shredder, chopped up again, and thrown out the window for the sake of getting followers or their 15 minutes of fame, as Andy Warhol said. And I'm just not.
Sadly, I agree with him on that.
Into giving,
including his client, though, in my opinion.
If you want your 15 minutes of fame, that's fine, but do it legitimately and do it with civility. Like this forum. I feel like this is. I'm coming on your show, Mr. E, because I was told that it has civility and decorum, and you care.
Baby Firefly. Well, if they're that ignorant to just take that information and run with it, I mean, they're not very good at investigations. Then
care about what is being said and what is out there, and I can see that now. And I respect that. And I did watch prior ones before coming on and did my research because sure. As my paralegals say, I'm a recovering control freak. Because all lawyers are control freaks. I'm in recovery. I believe I'm in the 12-step program. I believe step 5 requires me to apologize to all the people I may have over-controlled, and I'm just not sure I'm going to get through that step because it's a lot. And so I might not be in full recovery. So
again, there's really nothing of substance here besides clarifying that he represents Nick's company at Night Media, who has been retained by Seth some anonymous person via Seth. I'm not sure how all that falls out. At Night Media to me is no different than the Your Content news that they had previously. It's all just kind of this extremist propaganda, anti-government BS. It is what it is. And they're using noble causes like trafficking, missing children to make names for themselves. That's my opinion, and I'm going to stick to it.
I do appreciate you allowing me this forum and this decorum, because I think that's what everybody needs to understand. All the other creators out there, have some decorum and civility, and remember what the end result is, I would hope, of everybody who's involved with his cases, and that is to find this young man safe and sound.
Right.
I guess a question I have, though, as far as like the cease and defamation.
Baby Firefly, just so we're clear on things, I'm not sticking with anybody. I'm a lone soldier out here. I'm an asshole with a YouTube channel and a lot of opinions. I debunk misinformation on all parts. If I'm a concern of theirs, then so be it. But I'm not sticking by anybody, especially when they push off misinformation. You can guarantee that there will be no singing Kumbaya, my lord, from nonsense with people that have intentionally inserted themselves and spread misinformation on a missing child's case. I don't care who they are. This isn't about creators sticking by creators. This is about creators sticking by victims and victims having rights. That's my first and foremost priority. Is I will stand beside victims, and their families have rights and deserve their rights to be protected. That goes across the board as far as where I stand. Sorry.
I understand, especially I understand false reporting and things of that nature to the parole officer. That's clearly and it would be an issue, I would think. But for
and I hope you understand what I'm saying by that. If it's misinformation that's harmful to victims and their families, spreading misinformation about Seth does nobody any good. You can dislike and have your opinions on Seth and what he's been involved in. There's been some extremely concerning things that he has said himself, but when you take it up a notch and are confirming things that aren't factually true, or there's no basis behind it, like he didn't say these things, these are complete fabrications to get people to run with narratives, I've got a problem with that. No, I will not stand by anybody like that. Plus, I don't stand by racist, period, point blank, end of story.
For the individuals that have received the cease and desist, what kind of, are they able to still cover the case? Is it just up to a certain line and not crossing? Or
thank you, baby Firefly.
Or what would ceasing and desisting look like on their end? Like, what would that what would you need to see to believe that was a cease and desist?
I appreciate you letting me know, but I'm very clear in my stance on all of this. Victims and their families deserve protection, and their rights need to be protected way before somebody on social media who makes a career out of exploiting these families at their worst time. And all of them are doing it from side to side. If you go back and look at the start of this case, the people who inserted themselves as pro Seth and anti Proudfoot have now switched up. It's the JLR moves. It's the long troll. I'm sorry. It is what it is. And none of these families should have to deal with any of this. I don't care what your personal thoughts are. We don't have any fact basis that any of them are involved. And that's where I stand.
Right. Well, as you said, is to stop the misinformation, the false information, and stop the defaming of my clients, and keep your focus on what the issue at hand in finding this young man. And what that takes.
Sir, your client is defaming the parents of a missing child and spreading rumors about the parents of a missing child that are not true either.
And talking about that, putting my clients at the forefront, when the investigation at the forefront should be Sebastian and his family, that's where it becomes a problem. And they can. Hey, if they want to bring up Nick's background, we can't do anything about that. It's public. But then when you say, oh, call the probation office to complain about him when these people don't even know who he is, that's where it becomes a problem. So there is a line. We all know, it's a fine line. I got you. And my clients, they skirt that line as well.
I wonder what he would think about his clients being in association with the people that have called Katie and Chris murmurers. I wonder what he would have. These are the questions I would, Mr. Lesniak, I would love to ask you some questions. I would love to ask you the hard questions about all the people your clients have associated with that are part of their team, and the things that they have set out here that, in my opinion, would fall under a lot of the categories you're talking about that are problematic. I would love to ask and pick your brain. And I don't even have to just make it up. I could show you the receipts of these things being said.
Well, I'm not going to sit here and say that they're saints, that they skirt the line sometimes in the name of justice, as they believe. But they when you cross that line, and that's why the cease and desist letter went out first. Certainly,
Partly, and that's bullshit too. I don't have to like these people. None of the real life shit's okay. None of it. But you notice too, like when people are asking about threats, has anybody seen any of the proof of these threats? You'll notice that they're like, well, no. And then it's like, well, this person made a threat to me. Do you know how many of us have gotten death threats in our emails from other creators or trolls on the internet? All of us. I'm sure we all have. But to even state that you've gotten something like that in the midst of a missing child's case, that's not what they were asking. Like, you've got the main character energy of some of these people that have inserted themselves, and they're like, well, I got a threat in my chat from a random troll because you were fucking with, what was the guy's name? T-Rev757's little sidekick buddy. I mean, that's just weird shit to me too. And I'm talking about Clue.
we had a right to go to the federal court here in Philadelphia and file for a preliminary injunction. We chose not to, because you give people the chance to take the high road and move on. Their response was that publish it and mock it as that this lawyer's fake and that everything is fake about it. This is all not serious. And I'm here to tell you that we're serious. I have no doubt I am a litigator. You can look at my background. I've done hundreds of jury trials. I go into court every day. So it is not anything, it is a field of battle where I am very familiar with and have no problem going on to. And so, especially if
Remy, that's a good question. I've been wondering that too. Why a federal injunction? It'll be interesting to see how this pans out. Again, you can have and sit there and say you have the freedom of speech to do all this stuff, but it doesn't come without freedom of consequences. I'm sorry. And this is called manufactured drama and fabricated bullshit for clicks and views.
It means, stopping this kind of behavior and getting the focus back where it belongs in this case. And I know that my words are going to be turned around and misconstrued. I know coming on here, there are people who are going to use this. That's fine. Sure. They've already used my videos that I have. The videos where I talk about caring about my clients and all this stuff, and I just kind of smile because it is what I believe. There are a lot of people who don't listen to their clients. They kind of railroad people. I know those lawyers. I've represented some of those former lawyers, unfortunately. I'm not that person. I do care about.
Yaka, me too. I mean, I'm not on this guy's side whatsoever. He's just, I don't know what other people expected. If you looked into this guy when they first got on the scene, like most of us saw the writing on the wall, knew that this was coming, knew that this was going to be an amp up. I think most of us were not shocked by this over here, especially. We've been talking about this. We've been talking about how they go about things, the power and money, how they fall out, put pieces back together. Like, yeah, I mean, I'm not impressed at all, but I knew that was going to be the case. So I'm just kind of like, well,
my clients and their daily lives. And I understand.
To watch people cheer this on and like, oh my God, yes, they're getting cease and desist. They're doing this. They're doing that again because they dislike some of the creators over on this side, or they dislike being called to the carpet on their things. Like, that gets all weird and muddy for me, because victims across the board deserve protection. And some of you have done the most, and trust and believe there's a provable history that some of you could be on the receiving end if that ever goes that route too.
And as I think one video was shown, people come in, it's the worst day of their life when they're accused of a crime. It's the worst day of their life when this comes in, and people's lives are like a bowl of fish hooks. And so we want to take this one fish hook, which is the criminal accusation, and try and deal with it, but you can't pick up one fish.
I gotta speed this guy up. I'm falling asleep.
Now try and put 500 fish hooks into a bowl and try and pick them up. You're going to get at least 10 other fish hooks with it. And so I try to understand that there are other parts and components to these situations. It's not just the specific defamation or lying or things like that. There's other components going on.
Ricky Lynn, it's because they will go along with whatever's being pushed by the one side. They are definitely made their stance known, and they are willing to go along with anything. I mean, it's true. Like, I really had a lot of hope for these guys in the beginning. They seemed very normal, common sense folk, and that went right out the fucking window. Right out the window for me.
And as a lawyer, I recognize that, and I try to have compassion and empathy for that, of what are these people thinking on the other side, and how can we get them to change without necessarily going to court. I tell my clients, the court system is there to fix problems, but if we can fix them before we get in the court system, it's so much easier.
Somebody said, I haven't heard the lawyer mention barbecue. I don't think a lawyer is going to call her by barbecue lady either. Like, it's probably best he doesn't say anything, because a lawyer is starting to use TikTok handle. Like, that might be a little weird.
Because in the court system, your number, your transcript number, whatever. Whereas I try to humanize people and remember that everybody's a human being trying to make their way through this world, and nobody's life is easy. I don't care if you're the richest person in the world or the poorest man in the world. Everybody's life has ups and downs and pitfalls and things to deal with, and I try to keep that in mind. And I don't want to demonize anybody. Everybody has a reason for what they do and how they act, and we just try to get as long as best we can.
I actually I'm trying to keep up with chat and listen and do everything all at once. But one of the questions that keeps coming up is that, do you intern?
Donna, thank you for that. They can hate on me all they want. This isn't about any of these people. Like, I just don't like the fuckery. This has been intentional. If you go back to the basis of this case, none of this stuff is necessary. And it started from jump, people inserting themselves, going out to the neighborhoods, getting so excited over running into the other creators on YouTube versus actually a child being missing. Like, the intent was there from jump. If you watch some of these motives of these people and how they've moved the entire time. And I will be the first to tell you, like, I tried to give some of the people the benefit of the doubt and hope that they pulled their head out of their ass. Meanwhile, only to watch them go completely the opposite direction and the other way. And it is what it is. I'm an equal opportunity hater, as they say. I don't like anybody. That's not going to change today, tomorrow, or any day. I don't trust anybody because I've seen this happen so often. Right. And all of this is being done under the name of a 15-year-old missing child who has no say in any of this. Minors cannot consent. And minors can also be exploited by the very people that love them too.
Because of representing At Night Media, do you also in turn represent Seth Rogers and Tony Mathis?
Yeah, so I mean, by connection, yes. Since At Night has been retained by Seth Rogers along with Dog the Bounty Hunter to help out, by default, I do have them. Their interests, and certainly their interests are especially
by default. He says by default because they've been retained by the company.
Seth Rogers' interests are probably most paramount to my client, so therefore they're the most paramount to me because by an arm of my client, I'm an extension of my client brought on for legal issues, and so certainly I've been in contact specifically with Tony in this matter.
He's specifically in contact with Tony.
And regarding this, because the death threats have gone to him as well. And so we are involved in dealing with that. And he is aware of the cease and desist.
And that's all weird. I'm going to go back to that and say that one more time. That's going to be all weird how that all works out. Chasing, actually, my shirt says 3. How that all pan out, because it will determine like how they represent Tony, who he is in relation to this. If he's just an unpaid advocate, I don't know exactly how he would be representing Tony of all people in this, unless Tony is being paid by Seth for something. I'm not sure. He said that there's no contract involved. Tony did when he was on BJ's, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah, I have seen his hashtags. Yep.
Letters that have gone out. And it's my understanding, I believe the rumor is
Nursey Kins, I agree with you 100%. This is no different. No different. Not at all.
that 15 of these cease and desist letters have gone out. I can't tell you the exact number, but I can assure you that it's nowhere near 15.
Okay. Well, that was going to be my next question.
Yeah, so I know that I don't know where the magic number 15 came from.
I find that very questionable that he doesn't know how many exactly have gone out. So that makes me wonder if they have other people sending them to, if they don't know how many have gone out. Sir, you're the attorney supposedly sending these out. So how do you not know the exact number that you've sent out? Are they including the previous ones? What are they doing here?
I guess maybe somebody has a Ouija board, or my 8-year-old has a magic 8-ball. So maybe the number just came out of the air, or they just saw it in a vision.
There's no telling.
But I can assure you that I keep track of my own emails. I'm a solo practitioner, so there is no other lawyer in my practice. So there's me, and my paralegal, and a secretary. So I can assure you I'm aware of what's going out and how it's going out, and they're not anywhere near double digits in letters that have gone out.
So basically, he's just not wanting to answer the question of how many have actually gone out or are going out. Okay.
I believe Auntie, she's been very quiet this morning. She has a question.
Yes, you have.
I have.
And just so everybody is clear, if you're new over here watching for the first time too, no, I don't like Tony either. Tony is a distraction and has been from jump, but he was an afterthought too. A lot of this chaos had already kicked off with other creators and Seth. And again, Seth is in charge. He calls the shots. He's been very transparent about that. So yes, Tony's problematic, but he's not the only one.
He's speechless. I mean, it happens to people around me. I understand. My honesty always comes through very well.
Well, my question, I guess, is what happens to these creators that have
That's what I was thinking too. Chasing, I was assuming that, but I guess we'll kind of see.
received this, the cease and desist, but they choose not to follow the cease and desist? What's the next step that you, as an attorney, have to follow to get more done to stop this
You file in
stuff
court.
from happening?
Absolutely. So you remember, as an attorney, I'm an arm of a client. So my clients will make decisions. With the cease and desist order we sent, well, we would file a proposed preliminary injunction with the federal court. So, and we basically showed them what we would be filing. My client was skeptical about whether we should show that and whether we should do that. I told him, I was like, why not? I mean, they're going to have to get a chance to respond to it anyway. Why not show them what we developed? Maybe that might help them in understanding what it is we're asking them to stop doing and what we're going to provide to the court. So we provided what we would file if my client so chose to take that next step, with the court. And we did that because I try to be an open book. I'm not one to hide things. I don't believe, I'm not going to jump out and be like, aha, and things like that. I don't feel
In my opinion, lawyers like to use intimidation tactics by sending them, if you don't adhere to this, this is the next step.
that solves anything. We're all supposedly mature adults. We can hopefully have some decorum and understand where we are. So the plan was for this to be discreet and that they would just kind of stop, continue with their creating and their information that they get and gather and talk about this case, because I believe that the creators and this group are helping the situation in keeping this in the forefront. Because the last thing we want is this case to kind of fall back onto the back burner. So I'm not going to sit here and discount the power that the creators have in helping to move this along. But with that power, with that tool, just like any good tool, it can be used as a weapon as well. And that's what we really want to try and do, is stop the weaponizing of this power and refocus on using this power for good, and making it a positive direction, keeping this situation at the forefront, allowing people,
AKA damage control in layman's terms,
an avenue to discuss it, to come forward if they have information, whatever it may be.
If anybody has information, please contact law enforcement solely, nobody else.
Because it is
1-800-TBI find.
Heart-wrenching. We all have. I know I have children, and I can't even. I sit there and try and empathize with somebody, but luckily, God willing, I'm not in those shoes, and I'm not. My kids are safe and sound, but I can't even imagine if one of them were to go missing for over 6 months. I just can't. I can't fathom it. I tried to, try and walk into those shoes, and I can't. So, I mean, the creators and you guys helping this family to find Sebastian is huge, and I appreciate
helping to find Sebastian.
Everything that Knight's doing and Dog is doing, and that's why I have no problem representing them and trying to keep this tool for good and not being used as a weapon. And whatever we can do to get past this situation as quickly as possible, so we can refocus on talking about Sebastian and his family and what we can do to solve that issue would be great. And I'm hoping that this half an hour that I've spent with you and the time you've given me will help to move this issue along and maybe out of the
No, sir, you've just created more of a shitstorm.
Limelight and refocus on where it should be.
And we very much appreciate you being here with us today too. And if there's anything we can do in the future to help get the message out, the word out, if there's searches or new information, leads, things we can.
That comes from law enforcement, Mr. E, not an attorney.
Anything we can help with the public on our little end. I'm sure all the creators here feel the same way. There's a lot of folks watching that do this. If you don't mind if I ask just one question about just from a YouTuber and the social media folks that are curious about this, like what can we be doing to
sticking to the facts
to help in this situation, with the public and where we're not interfering in the investigation, but are working in a more positive way from
Absolutely. I mean, I'm certainly giving a forum for people to discuss the situation, because the other thing is how do we prevent these types of situations from going forward? How can we better protect our children? Isn't that the end result is, and everything I did as a prosecutor is how can we, yes, we need to react to what's happening now. Well, what are some things we can do to protect our children? How can we protect them on the internet? How can we protect them and allow them to be children for as long as possible? Also, if you do get information or somebody comes on and says, hey, I think I know something, direct them to law enforcement, get them to the right place to give information to the right authorities. And you can go through Dog, you can go through at Night, but really directly to law enforcement.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that.
Is the key to that. And if things come up and as the law enforcement publicize things, get it out there. get it out on the internet with your followers and the other creators' followers, to keep it going. And it's just like an Amber Alert works and things like that. Is how do we get out there, or and make people aware of it? That,
sir, can you have a conversation with your client about sticking to the facts, please? That would be great.
If new information came up, maybe that new information will spark somebody else knowing something, that then will lead to it. So, and again, keeping at the forefront so that we can, it doesn't become, and I hope kidnapping would never become old news, but that it becomes old news at some point, that this kind of case just kind of dissolves back unsolved, like cases sometimes do, and it's unfortunate. So, keep doing what you're doing is really the key. And like I said, I do appreciate all the creators who are helping to make that happen, because keeping the situation at the forefront, and on behalf of my clients and Seth and Tony, it is appreciated when this tool is used in a positive way, and making a positive impact on this case.
Well, I depending on how much time he has left,
We're happy to talk as long as you like. I know we said maybe 20.
I do.
Minutes.
I feel we're at 10:45, so I do have a couple of minutes. Maybe 10:30. My time is about the latest I can go before a judge starts yelling at me, because my dad was in the.
Okay, I think we've seen enough of this. I truly do. I think we've seen plenty of this. This attorney represents Nick the Hat, who is the owner of At Night Media. Him and Hong own At Night Media. Somehow Dog the Bounty Hunter is involved in that. So he represents the Dog the Bounty Hunter. And because somebody anonymously paid for, I guess, I don't even know if any money changed hands really, but Seth is being represented by At Night Media. By proxy, they represent Seth too. I'm really not sure. I'm not sure. It's whatever it is.
Military. So I was always taught you're 10.
I mean, that's what they've said. That's who they've said, but this is just so much.
It's really, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. Then I became a litigator. And with a litigator, if you have the black robe, you're always on time. If you're not, you're either late or early.
I'm sorry. I don't care about anything else he has to say. Let's see here. There is one other thing I wanted to talk about, and that's my buddy Spanky over here, the wallpaper melatonin of YouTube. So, of course, he had to review this. And, of course, if you notice, there's a similar theme. So, Mr. Ease went live. Justin went live. They're all spewing the same exact propaganda, narrative, rhetoric, because they're all affiliated with one side of this situation. Justin has been a foundational piece of misinformation and salacious bullshit all along, milking this case for all it's worth, really anti Chris and Katie. But I want you to hear what he has to say today. This is funny.
And so even the creators that would say, oh, I'm not picking sides or I'm not biased, became extremely biased.
Pot, meat, kettle. Pot. For anybody that doesn't know who this is Spanky Justin from Clutch Those Pearls, Justice for All. He does something salacious in every case that he covers. He hunts down people that are associated with the case. His team are prolific doxers, in my opinion. They also announced that a Marine veteran had passed away when he wasn't deceased. He was a huge part of that. He also unblurred or attempted to posit on unblurred images of a deceased minor, Kylie Rodney. He doxed an SA victim down to her social security number. He has been a foundational problem in every case he has ever touched. The list goes on and on of things that he has done. This is his Clutch Those Pearls channel that he has been building off of this case because his other channel got demonetized. Okay, let's go.
And the last few cases, major cases we've had, probably.
And he is on 2 times speed because, like I said, he is known as the melatonin of YouTube.
Since Quentin.
Oh, and he's a prolific liar. Liar McLiarson. He likes to conveniently forget a lot of things, and I've shown that many times.
Simon's case. That is when it was all this side or all that side. And so even the creators that would say, oh, I'm not picking sides or I'm not biased, became extremely
Hey, Val.
biased. Right. Now, everybody is entitled to their own opinion and all of that, but I don't understand how people rationalize that, saying that he walked off when law enforcement says there's nothing to suggest that.
Anybody in the comments want to answer that for him? Anybody? He's stuck on a narrative. Here, let me show you what it's like at 1 times speed so you can tell the difference between him sped up and not.
Whenever we see a vehicle come and then someone walks back toward that house area and doesn't come back out. Right.
Okay, I'm telling you, I got to tell you my pet peeve. Listen to this. I cannot stand when somebody says something and follows it up with right. No. Why are you answering? What? No. That is a big pet peeve of mine. And he does it a lot.
Oh, thank you, Holiday Mom. And so that's what I don't get, right? Like the only creator that I have seen that really hasn't taken a side on this is Savage. She's the only one. And she calls me a tragedy pimp. But I'm just being honest. I've got to be honest with you guys. Like she's been like, what's up with some of these? She said the same thing, like what's up with some of these creators who
Savage just is very true to what she says. Like that's what I've always heard. She sticks where she sticks. But it doesn't change that you're a tragedy pimp or a misinformation crony or an epic flaming piece of shit, in my opinion. That's my opinion.
say they don't take a side. There's some that'll say I don't take a side, but they'll be like,
she also, I don't think, has reviewed the interviews of Seth either.
I don't like Seth. He's a real tard. And, I heard that the other day. Just calling him names and cussing him and all that, like derogatory names is what I mean. Not just names.
And Val, I get that completely. I get where you guys stand and I respect that. And I stand totally with you to a point, but I am also realistic and families exploit their own loved ones too. And I've reviewed all of that anyways. Everybody knows the difference. Do your thing.
Names. Right. And
I also think he's posturing because he has people that support him monetarily that also like certain people. He's so weird. He always has some weird shit.
I mean, he's just there for his son. Thank you for Truth Salute so much, my friend. Basically, in my opinion,
I know you do, Val.
Attack towards death, the wreck of desperation to get the attention off the actual investigation. I need that another class as well. And I think they're coordinated just like the BAT, POs, and the arrest. And I think that is exactly right. Thank you, True Sleuth. Thank you. I appreciate it, honey. It seems to be a coordinated effort. It feels that way, at least, in my opinion. That lets nobody even remotely thought Seth was ever involved, even from the beginning.
This is where I just like, what the fuck, Justin? What?
Right. Because we knew. And it's like
we don't know shit. We have no idea who's involved. If we're being honest here, people, we have no clue who's involved. We know what we know from law enforcement, that the parents have been cooperative and that their stories have been vetted. That's all 3 of them. But how he can continue to say this about Seth, meanwhile continuing to paint narratives about Chris, is absolutely mind-blowing.
Creators that, I don't know, for whatever reason, they always take the opposite side.
And now that Seth has shown his time card through Betty, be quiet. Through Betty, he is demanding that Chris comes out and proves to social media people where he was. No, sir. Law enforcement has vetted their information. YouTubers don't and are not entitled to that. I can't stand this.
It's bizarre. And I understand we all see things differently, but
I keep the same energy. Like, I'm not going to kiss any of their asses. What has been done to this child by his father is unacceptable. Period. Point blank. End of story. And it is horrific, but it doesn't mean he's guilty of having anything to do with the disappearance of his child. Both things can coexist at the same time. He can be the parent of a missing child and also exploit his own missing child too. And do horrific things, such as tell social media things that we should never have known.
I can never, ever, ever sit and attack a father who we know was at work.
I could never sit and attack a father who we know was at work. Well, factually speaking, According to law enforcement, we know that Chris was also at work because their stories, according to law enforcement, have been vetted. So therefore, it would mean that you are attacking the father, which you try to diminish because it's just a stepfather, right? But you attack him on the daily. You paint narratives about Chris on the daily. So again, if you're going to keep the same energy, keep it across the board. We don't have any indication that either one of them are involved, including Katie.
Right. And loves his son and is doing everything he can. None of us is perfect, right? They said Seth has made it a circus.
He has 100%. That's factually speaking. Again, I'm not the channel that's sugarcoat shit. He has made it a circus. He has told everybody that he is in control. He is the boss. He is the one in charge. And he has. People continue to say that Chris and Katie didn't do this. They're the one who brought it out here. They're the ones that got media attention. They're the ones that asked for help. He came after, but nobody wants to think about that either. This is where I get
Let's talk about that. It's creators that continue to make it a circus and continue to speak about the amount of hate every day.
Sir, no, that's not the problem. The hate is intentional. This whole guise of, oh my God, it's just hate. No, debunking you assholes and pushing back on you assholes is necessary. Unfortunately, no matter how your feelings are about the situation, these victims and their families deserve better. And Seth intentionally picked the creators who are willingly exploiting him and his son. He picked them. JLR, he called and specifically asked to get involved. T-Rev, he aligned with him. Pascal, all of these people who have been willing to exploit him and his missing child signed right up. Again, I go back to, is there a list of all of the ones that will do all of this stuff and push these narratives?
Right. The amount of hate every single day for hours and hours and hours. Right. You know.
Oh my God, the fucking use of right. I want to smack people when they do that. Right? Right? No, it's not right.
We just want to know about the case, right? Can you clarify this? Can you clarify that? Right? People are saying that you were at work at 5, 5:15, 4, 6, 7. Can you clarify that? That's it. That's not a big question. It's not a big question. Right? You don't owe us anything. You don't owe us anything. I understand that.
You don't owe us anything. But if you would just clarify things, if you would clarify things so we could turn bigger salacious rumors, you're owed nothing. This is a missing child. This isn't a fucking game of Clue.
But shouldn't you? Shouldn't you? Is the question that I'm asking. Want to clarify up.
And this is the same one who put their house floor plans online and went room by room, showing their house plans and going through and this and that. Constantly does it to every tragedy that he can find. He did it to Matthew Guerrera and was it Savannah Soto? He does all of it.
As much as you can. Not only for.
And I'm not talking their house plans. I'm talking the people that were responsible for but still, that's unnecessary. Putting other people in danger because you think you're going to be something of an armchair detective?
Your sake, but for the sake of this whole public, the interest of Sebastian's case being public. Right?
Yeah, playing baby music outside of Quentin Simon's house.
Because if you are what you say you are, well, let's just show that. And that would take a lot of resources and all of that off of you.
I'll block you, Helen.
So people wouldn't have maybe these opinions of you because of that, right? So you're exactly right, Trish. There is a lot of.
So if they would come out and clarify things to social media people, random YouTubers who have zero credentials, who shouldn't matter at all, if they would come out and clarify to these people who think that they are owed something, then maybe the perception would change. No, they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't, because you've already got it made up in your mind that they're guilty of something. You guys say it all the time that they're suspicious. All you would do is try to debunk and further push harm to the family. They're in a lose-lose situation. They're damned if they do and damned if they don't. And I'm so proud of them for remaining silent. And I sure as hell hope that they're not in contact with these people who are weaponizing their stuff to other fucking chaotic people. Oh, that pisses me off, truly.
Frankly, just disdain for people, right? The way I see it, in my opinion, I don't.
Remy, you like that? Resources. Meanwhile, they're working hand in hand with law enforcement. But he's also the one that condones what Bullhorn Betty and other people have done to this family. He, you know, praises Silver's on the Scene, who has helped to keep him under surveillance, and all these other creators, JLR. You know, he spread the narrative that JLR was being stalked and harassed by the Bowersox, even though the Bowersox were at Chris and Katie's home, and JLR was the one from another state driving around their neighborhood. Fucking assholes.
See, Justin, especially, he isn't choosing Seth's sides. He's following the breadcrumbs. Thank you for saying that, because it is for me. It's not about. Listen, I'm gonna tell you something. If Seth wouldn't have been at work that night, right? If he hadn't been at work that night, and things would have probably been a little bit different for me, you know. But he's got as good of an alibi as you could humanly get. You don't have any more cameras on you, right? And there was just no motive, right? There was no means, and there was no opportunity.
And we have no indication that Chris, like, this is the crazy thing. So they will take it for one side and do what they want on one side. What did Val say? I see Val getting a lot of claps in here. Hold on. I'm finding Val's comment. She must have said something. Good. Confirmation bias is dangerous. Yep, it sure is. And the harm that they're doing to this family, we can't take it back, you guys. This family's lives are forever changed, no matter which way this turns out. These people will never stop, no matter what happens. It is so dangerous, and the incitement and the hate-fueled rhetorics that they're spewing against them, re-victimizing her, the abusing her, the help to re-abuse her. Oh my God, it's unbelievable. Unfucking believable.
If you were at work, right? So there is no motive. You're getting your kid in a couple months, right? Means. How would he have the means to do something if he was at work? And you know, like Chris McDonough said, you know, let's say in this theory that Seth had someone else, you know, take Sebastian and put him somewhere. Well, they're going to know that very quickly. They're going to know that very quickly, right? Because he would have to go somewhere to see his son or to speak to his son.
Same thing with Chris and Katie, you idiot.
Or speak to someone about his son.
They can't even step away enough to see, oh my God, I'm doing this exact same thing to Chris and Katie.
Right. The problem with, in my opinion, a lot of these creators, that they're more interested in the drama than they are the actual case. They're interested in true crime, but they don't think the theory. The
drama. If you push back and debunk their misinformation and are fierce on it, like I have been from jump, that's what I do, is debunk it. They call it drama. They call it hate. I don't give a fuck. I don't call them a factor in anything I think or do, besides easy content, because they make it so easy. They just spew bullshit and create narratives and falsehoods and profit off of this family's pain on the daily. It's truly disgusting. But if you debunk them, you're drama and hate filled. How dare you think that families deserve better? How dare you stand against re-victimization of victims, abuse survivors? That's what they're doing. They're helping abuse Katie every fucking day. Every day.
Through, right? Where they're so conspiracy that.
And as a mom, my heart breaks for Katie. I can't even imagine, because I know for a fact how hard it is having a child with special needs, let alone the worst potential thing happening of your kid going missing. I could not, I can't imagine. That I can't even imagine. I don't want to ever imagine that. But to have these things made up about you online all day long because your kid went missing and there's no proof that you have anything to do with it, but these random strangers think it's acceptable to abuse you because somebody's feeding them false narratives. My heart breaks to see what they have done to her. And if you, I'm sorry, I can't stand these women that sit there and say that they love Sebastian more than she does, that they care about Sebastian more than she does. Fuck you, all of you that do that.
It's complete bull. Complete garbage, right? And that's what's just embarrassing. It's just embarrassing. But you know, there are people.
It's embarrassing that you're even saying this while you do the things that you do. And by the way, Brittany Jay's live stream from last night, like I said, I have it recorded. We will go over that because the shit that they allowed in that chat last night and fawned over. Oh, the disgusting shit that they say. Sorry, Kenzie's cleaning out cat dishes.
People that don't like what I do. They're like, oh, well, you know, bash the parents and all of that. I ask tough questions about the case. Sometimes I get out of line, a little out of line, but I really try to keep it about the case. Right. And you can't sit and tell me that it's not bizarre that an autistic child that doesn't like to be dirty, that is afraid of the dark, that hates bugs, doesn't like nature, walks out barefooted on after.
Meanwhile, he loves to go fishing. He had an episode with fire ants when he was 2 years old that he probably doesn't even remember. But sure, yeah, that makes sense. He's a 15-year-old teenager.
Midnight, when he's allegedly had a very powerful sleeping medication and gets.
There's, again, no indication that that's true whatsoever. I'm done. Sorry, I can't. This is where he goes completely into fabrication. Fuck this shit.
Past 5 miles of searching and nobody sees him. The dogs don't smell him. Nobody sees him like in person. There's no.
That's not true. There was a dog hit that led to the pond. It didn't lead them to Sebastian. So it was basically, oh God. How have we all been watching the same thing? How have we all been watching the same thing and gotten to this point? Brittany J in her panel refused to push back on Nick and all of his salaciousness. Then you have this attorney who comes out here just to stir the pot some more. And unfortunately, all he was doing was trying to prove that he's an actual attorney, and he's explaining why he sent out a cease and desist. Okay, that's not shocking. I'm sorry. When people fuck around, they're going to find out. He represents people. We knew this was coming. We knew that they were going to get into this. Look who is on the teams, people. Betty likes to do this without an attorney. She likes to try and bankrupt people by being litigious. Okay, like what the fuck is powerful sleep medication, and there's no indication. Chasing the fire ants issue happened when he was 2 years old, though. Like that was what was said too. So does he even remember it? Maybe, and maybe he did. We've jumped the gun on so much shit.
Scent of him. There's nothing on camera. There's not a track, not a trace.
And I'm sorry, I think anybody that's interfering with an active investigation, such as having a tip line, should be charged criminally. That's my opinion. And if you don't like it, stick it in your pipe and smoke it. I think anybody that is a grown-ass adult who comes out here and intentionally inserts themselves as a character into a missing child's case and does things like creates tip lines, creates false narratives about being a dog handler, interferes with an active investigation, should be charged criminally. That's my opinion.
Nothing, but we also see a vehicle come at 3 a.m. There is human activity. They do something allegedly around the car. And
we have no idea that there is a vehicle. We have no clue that this is actually truthful. You can see whatever you want to in the lights.
And one goes back to the common area.
We also saw ponytails, according to some people, too, flopping in the wind. We've saw all sorts of things. Shit, you might even see aliens if you take enough LSD.
And people's like, oh, I think he walked off. I just think he walked off. I just think he just walked off. Really? Are you being honest with yourself right now? Are you really being honest with yourself?
Yeah. There's a possibility that he did just walk off. Truly, there is. There's also a possibility that he was lured out. There's also a possibility that he left and self-harmed. There's also a lot of possibilities on the table that people are completely unwilling to even go into because they want a nefarious outcome. They want somebody to be guilty of doing something horrific. I've never been in the mindset that I can understand that. Why do people want something horrifying to happen to these children? I want to believe that Sebastian is still alive and well living. That's what I want to believe. That's why I have no concrete theory of what happened. That's why I still say it's possible that he walked out of the home.
Because all of that, right? For me, if there was one of those things, if he was seen on a camera, if
Pineapple, can we throw the internet away, please?
there was a scent of him, if someone seen him, right? If we had his footprint, right? If he,
Okay, if this motherfucker says right one more time, I'm gonna right hook him.
any of this,
No, that's not a threat. It's a fucking app. He's on another side of the state. I'm never gonna see him face to face. So calm down, Brittany and her fucking misfits.
of this, just one of those, I would be like, okay, it's possible. It's possible. Critical thinking. Yes, Mr. E. Critical thinking. People don't even have common sense anymore.
We're the ones without common sense. Okay, I'm done. I really am done this time. I can't take any more of that. I can't. Can't. Yeah, it's more than possible. Oh, yes. Yes. Frenchie. Yes. I'm telling you up to good. It drives me nuts. There's other people that do it too. And there's other people that say right and like are two of the things that I can't stand. Like, oh my God, like. There are so many. Yes. Chasing, there really is. We have no idea what happened to Sebastian. Sebastian is missing. But this continued game that at the end of the day only affects the parents and the loved ones of Sebastian and Sebastian. Truly, Sebastian, this impacts more than anything else. His dignity, his story is truly beyond ridiculous at this point. Like, I am becoming speechless over this, and I'm so glad that I'm doing something else for the next 4 days because my brain is mush. This attorney, nothing shocking about that at all. It's going to be interesting to see, but I've also heard people like posturing that, oh my God, we love and support you so much. How dare they try to silence you? I'm sorry. I'm going to cheer for Chris and Katie as far as attempting to protect themselves against Bullhorn Betty, but I'm sure as fuck going to cheer for Seth if he is standing up against rumors being concocted that he might have something to do with something because he potentially gave somebody pants and inciting that shit. If he's going to stand up, fuck yeah. I'm going to stand up and say, now, Tony, fuck that guy. Nah, he walked himself into that, got involved with all those people. Those are characters in a sideshow. When it comes to families, I stand with whatever they need to do to protect themselves. Again, we have no indication that Seth is involved in the disappearance of his child. You might not like the guy, which I don't. You might have a lot of questions about what he has done. I do. But facts are facts. And law enforcement has said that their stories have been vetted. There's no indication of foul play, but everything is on the table. And I'm going to believe in that until we have anything else to go with. I know he did, Angel. I know he did. And I've spoke openly about that too. I don't know how he could ever support BHB over the mother of his child. I don't. That's a personal thing for me again. But it doesn't change my opinion that he's also the parent of a missing child that doesn't show guilt to me. Him supporting Betty doesn't mean he's guilty of being involved in the disappearance. It means, in my opinion, he's a shitty human being. Hopefully that makes sense. Cranky pasta. I say that all the time. Sorry. You're just going to have to get with it or not. You say what in the world a lot? Because if that makes sense, and I'm going to do it obnoxiously now. I would hope you wake up in the morning and brush your teeth because it does make sense because then your teeth don't rot out of your head. Even if you brush your teeth every day, sometimes they still rot because of genetics and other things. So there's that. I say that a lot too, Tracy. Okay, I'm out. This is too much. Yeah, Kim, that's something I can't overlook. Like, that's why, like, I respect other people that say, that's not where I come from. I'm a very much a realist, and there's so much concern about how he has used his own son's trauma for personal gain that bothers me. Again, Sebastian could not consent to all of these stories being told. And to watch a parent do that to their child and then stand up for the very people who are re-abusing or re-victimizing and constantly abusing the mother of your child, like, that will never sit well with me, ever. Never. But is there any questions before I leave out of here today? I will see you guys over the weekend and stuff. I hope I'm very clear on where I stand. Seeing those text messages, if those are actually from Clue to Nick, if that's true, why the fuck are people doing that and then, like, weaponizing their relationship with Chris and Katie to antagonize Nick more? Like, why do that? That doesn't make sense to me. Why also lie and not own up to the fact that you were a part of this pants bullshit that was started when people were asking questions and you were on panel and you just shut up? I got a lot of problems with it. You know where I stand on barbecue, lady? Fuck those people the long way. Don't come around here. No use for you. You insert yourself into a missing child case, do a tip line? Nope. Oh, pineapple. Yeah. You're climbing in my suitcase. Okay. SF can handle his own. SF is on a different level. Yeah. Same. Sheila, Nick posted a screenshot of a text message between supposedly him and Clue. Let me read it again just so everybody knows what I'm talking about right there. So he posted a screenshot on his X account yesterday, and he said, it says Clue Who, #Sebastian Rogers. And it says, the screenshot he posted says, and now we can't confirm that this is actually her in any way, shape, or form, but he's claiming it is. The text message says, "Hi, I'm Cluminati, and I am very involved in the Sebastian Rogers case. I'm just a lowly YouTube personality, but I do talk to Chris and Katie daily," in parentheses, his parents. Nick responds, supposedly, says, "I'll be free later today. Text my personal cell number included." Then she says, "Will do." Why are you reaching out to the people who are coming in to antagonize the situation and telling them that you, like, why? Vegas, guys. I'm going to Vegas. Helen, you shithead. Right? Helen just texted me and said, right. Pineapple, did you miss what I said about her on Queens today? They were reviewing this attorney thing, and she was on panel too. This is another part that bothers me. She was on panel, and Queen asked, like, who said stuff about the pants? Like, where did that come from? And they're talking about it, and they're like, Terry Lynn was the one. But what he was implying was people were lying about whose pants they were and that whole situation. And she remained silent about it. Meanwhile, she was just on TikTok with Jay Barbecue and the rest, saying that those pants, that Barbecue wasn't lying about that. I played the clip of that too. And she remained completely silent. And then she follows it up with, I wonder if that will mean Terry Lynn can't search anymore. What the fuck? What? Sorry. I see the games all over the place, and people be very careful if you're in the inbox with these people, because I have a feeling there's a fishing expedition going on by Nick the Hat and his company, which rightfully so, when they're getting text messages that say, I'm in communication with the parents every day. They're going to think that there's some salacious information that they're going to get out of this. So they're going to try to push things to get some information, and people are just inserting themselves as characters. And if you have a problem with where I stand, sorry, because I'm going to continue to stand here. So I hope you guys all have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday, and I will see you guys sometime over the next 4 days, relaxing, hopefully going to the races. Yeah, Timu swimming pool, using the guise of I'm just asking questions while salacious information from the parents is being released to target things or anything like that. That's gross. Yeah. I don't gamble, you guys. So I mean, I will throw like a 20 in here or there, but we're not going to gamble. We're going to watch. It's the championship for the races. So Chasing, when are you going live? Or if you're still in here. Yeah, Natalie, and you notice that that's not being talked about anymore either. JP, if you're still in here, if you hear this by any chance, great live the other night. Great live. But man, you had my mind going because I didn't know half that shit had happened. I don't know if Chasing's still in here. I think Chasing, I don't know if she said, I think she said she was going to address this, but I don't know when she's going to address it. Twist, thank you. And please be very clear on what I'm saying. Queen asked the questions. Clue just opted to not. Like, I'm not putting that on Queen. Again, because every time. Gardetto, I'm not saying that. No. That's not what I said. I said that there's proof of her using that. I won't sit by racists. And I won't sit by people that start tip lines. I was saying that I was questioned about, was there proof of barbecue using that? A lot of people that I know have used that word quite a few times, and it's about progress and change. Barbecue used excuses for why she used it. Oh, in fact, hold on. Fuck that shit. Let me just play the clip. You know, why not? Before we end out, since you're questioning why I'm saying what I am. When you make excuses of why you're using that, yeah, I'm going to have a problem with. Okay. So this is, again, clipped from Dr. Vance. It is from May 25th, 2024. Here is, go to about the 8:15-ish minute mark. And here's one example of barbecue talking about her use of the R word.
I went and bought a fucking truck. Okay? So I'm tired of people saying shit. I don't give a fuck. Did I say the R word in their live? Yes, I did. Because for fucking weeks, Ocean came week after week after week doing the same shit she just did to Tammy in that live, trying to get her to fucking get him to say something, pushing him to the edge. Just
Trigger warning, it is going to be fully said here in a second.
Antagonizing them. And yes, I said it. But I'm going to say this, and this isn't, quote, justification like they say I try to do. But that's where the train's coming by. What I will say is this. Okay? I grew up. I know, you hear the train. I grew up in a time where people said retarded. Okay? I'm going to say it because I want them to know that what I'm saying, we used to say it to mean stupid. Okay? It was nothing about anybody mentally attacking someone or their disabilities. And when I said that to them on their live, what retarded ass shit did I fucking say that was misinformation? Record it. I don't give a
Oh, I'm not Gardetto. I'm not afraid to address her bad behavior. I actually, you might have missed it. I went right up on Clues on Queen Bees the other day and asked her to her face about her tip line. So when you think I'm afraid to address her, no, I had her spitting and stuttering and falling all over herself, actually lying about this tip line, non-tip line. So when you think that I'm scared, just know that, no, I've already done that and was lied to straight to my face. Straight. Yeah, pineapple. I have too. But I said it on Queens. That was another reason why I fucking don't like people like her, because she excuses it. But there's that. And I was told that her tip line, non-tip line, wasn't a tip line. And then she had tech difficulties. So there's that. Any other questions, Gardetto, before I leave? Run tell that. Run tell that. Oh, Queen's bad behavior. What you see, I've actually talked about what I think is going on over there recently too. You can go watch that live too. And as far as a lot of what you guys want me to address and the expectation of me to have issues with Queen, yeah, that's not going to happen. I don't have personal issues with Queen whatsoever, and that's not going to happen. So there's that. I've addressed what I think happens on Queen Bee's panel, and I think people are using Queen Bee's panel to push narratives at times. But I've also been very clear about that. So there's that. Am, do you want me to play it right quick? Do you want me just to play it right quick before I leave? God, I keep saying I'm getting out of here. Hold on. Let me see if it's still up. I haven't gone back and watched it. Dexter, quit. Which one was it? Oh, shit. Was it Sunday? Hold on. Hold on. I got to let Dexter down. Was it Sunday? It was just at the end. Give me a second. Oh, there I am. Hold on. Here you go. Here you go, Am.
They can bail people out.
This is from Queen Bee's panel.
Oh my God. Or is that just certain states?
This is her first.
I know.
She usually doesn't just pop up like this. Hold on. We gotta double check. Okay, I said we got to double check. What's up, baby?
Queen Bee was making sure it was me. Hey,
Okay.
I just have a quick question. Sorry.
Just wanted to double check, make sure it was
I
you.
know.
You know what I mean? I'm like, oh,
It's delayed.
fuck.
You're good. Thank you for checking.
All right, baby.
Okay. Really quick question, because barbecue's on panels that I don't usually go to. So I have a question for her, if that's okay. She had a tip line in the beginning of this on her TikTok channel.
It wasn't a tip line. Hold up. It wasn't a tip line, but go ahead.
It wasn't a tip line?
No.
What was it then? Because you have an email for tips for Sebastian.
It was like if you had screenshots or something like that, that, you know, it wasn't, listen, we never told anybody to give us tips. We always referred people to TBI or Sumner County Sheriff.
Okay. Was that done before Tony came into the picture or after you aligned yourself with Tony? That's my one question.
Well, I never aligned myself with Tony ever.
Okay, so was it done when after you went on the ground searching for Sebastian with Tony or with Seth or in the area? When was the tip line established is what I'm trying to get at.
It's not a tip line, but
it is a tip line. It's a Google tip line. It says, I have screenshots of it of my community post.
You have screenshots of words, okay?
Okay.
I'd be happy to have full transparency and screen record every single email that came into that email box.
Oh, that's here nor there. I'm asking, when did you start that? Did you start that before you and Tony started talking, communicating, falling out? Like, when was that started in the process? I'm just trying to look for timeline purposes, because most of us have known what's been going on for months on end and seen all the back and forth.
Sorry, I'm at 5%. Say that again. I don't hear anything.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, she can hear you. She just needs to repeat your question again, Nonsense. She didn't hear
Okay.
you clearly.
I was like, when did you start that tip line?
I'd have to go back into my phone right now and look at the very first email. Would you like me to do that right now?
Yeah, actually, I would love that. Just for
okay.
transparency purposes, because I'm trying to figure out all the moving in and out, because I've heard a lot of people say that a lot of the BS started after Tony got involved, and especially on TikTok. I know Tony really kind of honed into the TikTokers to do stuff on his behalf or what it's being spread like. But it seems that a lot of you were involved in this before Tony even came involved, because he didn't get involved until April, May-ish.
I'm trying to Tony actually, the first day that he came on TikTok.
Gardetto, if you have a problem with Queen Bee, go man up and talk to Queen Bee. She has an open panel. You're invited to go up there and address any type of grievances you have with Queen Bee. Don't bring it over to me, because I'm not your mama. I'm not Queen's mama. I ain't going to be your middleman. None of it. I don't have a problem. And if I do have a problem with anything, I will go directly to Queen. Otherwise, your problems with Queen are not my problems with Queen. There's that. Carry on.
Was in Chasing Crimes live, and that was on Friday, May 10th.
Okay. And you must have had that tip thing before.
I don't want you to assume that. I just said I'm gonna look it up and see when the first.
No, that's
email
perfect.
is. But I got to get my charger because I'm only at 5%. So just bear with
Thank you.
me. And I don't know
just
who
really.
I don't know who you are, respectfully.
This is nonsense. She's
I'm just your friendly asshole with a YouTube channel and a lot of questions of people that aren't making sense, and their motive seems really off to me. So that's what I do.
Do you think my motive is off?
100%. I thought that from jump.
Oh, okay. Well,
I actually have found it. Like, I appreciate everything you have done for the blip boards. Great.
So what do you think my motivation is?
You seem to cause a lot of drama with a lot of things, because most of us knew that Terry Lynn was causing issues and drama for a long time. So you, Gardetto, be more specific of what you think we're supporting and condoning, or shut the fuck up. I mean, truly, you're just trying to derail, and all of us have already talked about this many times. You're like a day late and $5 short. Truly, it's boring at this point in time. If you've got issues with what you think is being supported, be specific or don't say anything at all. You coming back around months later and interjecting yourself seems kind of self-serving, in my opinion.
How did I come back around? How did I come back around?
Did you not insert yourself even further out of hatred for other people?
So you're not being very specific. So no.
After you had the falling out with, I'll say it flat out. After you had the falling out with Tony and Seth, did you not come around and say, okay, well, look at me. I'm going to trump you and I'm going to raise money for your blip boards and have problems with chasing crime?
No, I never said that. That is not what I said.
Okay. Isn't one of your other favorite things that you like to say the R word?
My iPad keeps shutting off. I'm trying to figure out, how do I fix this, Maddie?
Queen, I got Gardetto, by the way, if you have a complaint, call 199, get fucked. Truly, I'm not here to file your grievances. I address what I want to address and who I want to address. If you have grievances with other people, instead of expecting the rest of us to have those same issues or call these people out because you obviously are too thin to fire up a fucking video and do it yourself, then fucking carry on or call the complaint line. I don't give two shits today, tomorrow, or any other day. Stop trying to start shit over stupid shit. Either be an adult and man up and fucking address the shit straight on, or don't bring it over here. Have a blessed day. My answers, I'm gonna go. Thank you for letting me up here.
I don't even know who the fuck she is, but apparently she doesn't want to like actually listen to what people have to say and just wants to point the finger.
Oh my God.
Fix how my screen keeps turning off.
Yeah, just try to find a plug, and maybe you have screensaver mode because it's power saving mode. Maybe you have it set for. Well, guys, if you're entertained by this absolute and very interesting live,
everybody got real quiet
for Sunday, I would suggest you hit the like button. Hell, hit the dislike button.
Okay, we got it. I mean,
hold on, I go right back up though, because she was like, I was getting nowhere, so I popped down. And then here's this.
She didn't even wait for me to pull up my email to tell her when the email was started. And it wasn't a tip line. And I told her I would be very transparent. And
I typed in the chat, I'm right here. I can hear you.
Saying or showing exactly what kind of emails were actually sent to that email address.
Mm-hmm.
So, let me go back, way back.
What type of like actual things did you get from? I mean, if you're not calling it a tip line, what would you call it?
Like here's one. Well, some of these are Let's see. Sarah Swank sent an email to that.
Yeah, but I'm saying like, what would you call it if it's on a tip line?
It was where people were sending screenshots and random things. Here's one here. Could this be the lady in the photo with Sebastian? You know, just random stuff. Here's a few shit talkers. This isn't about Sebastian, but someone doxed you. I mean, they're just random stuff. There's never been an actual tip per se that someone would classify as a tip of where Sebastian is or anything like that at all, ever. And I
Well,
have
why-
every single email still in this email folder.
You said a picture of a lady with Sebastian. Why did you
No,
make that?
no, I didn't say Sebastian.
Oh, okay. Maybe I misheard.
No.
But
Um,
okay. I mean, when did you start that and when did you end it? At that particular line.
Well, it's
no, this is from Sunday.
Up here.
What's up?
Thanks.
Actually, there's still emails being sent to it. I have not logged into this and read any emails. Let me go back to see. I have not even logged into this account since, because there's like a blue little thing, since June 6th. And someone said, can you please send me the flyer? That was the last email that I looked at, June 6th.
Did you say when you created it?
Oh, you're back?
Yeah, I'm back.
Why do you need to know when I created it? I'm just wondering, because I feel
You
like
just said you were going to look. I was just asking a simple question of, were you associated or talking to Tony and Seth at the time that you created it? Because I find it really interesting.
No, this account was created in April.
Okay, so you did that on your own behalf of creating a tip line over a missing child.
No, I didn't create a tip line. It was
Man,
for
that's what it's
screenshots.
named. By the way, nobody knew I was coming up to do this. This wasn't pre-planned, nothing. I took the opportunity. I refuse to usually panel when Clue's over there at all. I don't even watch over there if she's over there. Today I did a little bit because I was stunned by some of the fucking shit that was being said. Normally you won't find me over there because I am so disgusted with the shit that's happening. Truly, that's where I've stood. That's where I stand. But I popped up that day because I was like, every time I ask this question, nobody will ask her. Nobody will say it. I've been asking this in multiple chats for months on end about this tip line. The tip line is actually tipsforsebastian@yahoo.com. That's why I asked this. And we're being told it's not a tip line.
I mean, could you just say it probably was not a good idea? You know, like you
It
probably
wasn't the
did
best
something.
wording, okay, but it wasn't a tip line.
Okay. I mean, but maybe like.
No, I understand why there's questions about like the lawyer fund and stuff with Queen Bee. I get that, but Queen Bee has said over and over again that when this is all finalized, they will show receipts. Burnt Toast has said that, Queen Bee. I have faith that that will happen. And if it doesn't, then there will be other things that were questioned. But I have complete faith that that will be shown in time too. I get why people ask questions about that. I just choose to wait and see. We don't have any, like, it's still ongoing right now. Am I wrong? Am I wrong that it's ongoing? Like, I get why people have questions about all this shit. I've just never been a part of that. A lot of people thought I was a part of that group for a long time. I never was.
It was a bad idea
I go over there just like I go to Rabbits or anybody else's.
in the beginning to do, you know, like you
This is
wouldn't
a
do it
missing
again.
child. It's not a game. Like there's a real life here and there's real humans attached to these stories. And even attempting to act like you are somehow like missing the point of why this is problematic. All tips, only tips should be going to the TBI. I don't know why you're not getting the same heat.
Do you have any information, a screen recording of me ever saying anything of mailing me or emailing me?
Helen, 100%. And that's where, if anybody, 100%, we know she has an attorney. Attorney's being paid. There's filings. I mean, it's kind of a wait and see situation, right? She has an open panel. She stands behind her open panel. I see problems with open panels because shit like what's been happening and these people using that to push narratives, it sucks again, but that's her choice. Like that's what she does. She's been the same. This has been the same thing that I've seen since I first knew who that channel was in the Quentin Simon stuff.
Anything. I have always stood on my ground 10 toes saying, if you have a tip, Go
Sorry, there's a combination of questions and comments that I'm reading. So
to TBI, 1-800 TBI find. Go to Sumner County Sheriff's Office, call them on the phone. I've never said to send me an actual lead tip to me ever. And if you have it,
doesn't matter. You have a public TikTok channel with a tip line attached in
It's not
the
a tip
description
line,
of
but
your
whatever.
video.
Anyway,
We can
anything
play
else?
semantics over the wording of it all day long. That's just a question for me because I've heard a lot of like, well, after Tony and I fell out and Tony did this to me, but now
No,
you're
I
sitting
never
here
said
saying,
Tony and I fell out. I was never with Tony.
okay, well, you and Tony have had your drama. Let's go there because it got brought into Pascal's lives. It got brought in all over the place.
No,
but now you're admitting that you had this email address before you were ever involved with Tony and those guys. So tell me you weren't trying to make a name for yourself off of a missing child.
I wasn't.
Okay.
No, I wasn't.
All right. Well, I think your actions have shown a lot differently, and that's just my opinion. And
Well,
have a
that's
great
your
day.
opinion. Shove it up your ass for all I give a fuck, because I didn't do any of that stuff.
You just admitted to having a tip line, man.
I have not tried to make a name for myself over a missing child.
You haven't.
Well, you can choose to believe whatever you want.
I don't have to choose to believe. It's in your actions. Again, great
And
thing
again,
that you did
I
as
just
far as
said-
the blip boards. Wonderful thing. Kudos to you.
Yeah.
But it would be great if the motivation was about the missing child. And if you're
It
even
is.
attempting
It's
to
always been about that.
Oh, really? That's why you have a tip line.
Is anybody shocked by this?
I don't have
That
a tip
should
line.
anybody that has any information should never send it to a TikToker, a YouTuber,
That's
anybody.
never. Did I ever say send me fucking tips about Sebastian's disappearance? No.
Wolfie, I didn't even hear it.
No, I didn't.
Okay. Well, continue on with your Cherry Lynn stuff. You're catching up months later because we've all known that all the trouble that she's caused since jump.
Okay,
So
goodbye.
have a great
Thank
day.
you.
Thank
Yep,
you,
toodaloo.
Queen.
Have the day you deserve to.
Bye.
But watch this.
You have a good one. I have to say, today has been a very, very interesting day.
See, Tim's like, what the fuck is going on here?
Definitely gonna take maybe 2 Tylenols, maybe 3. Who knows?
I know I was going to lay down and take a nap, and then we started talking about the billboards. I'm glad I did it.
I am telling you, like, I know this is, somebody will label me sexist tomorrow at school, but it feels like we're all like syncing our periods. Sorry.
No, ma'am. By the way, I don't have a womanly cycle. It's not about syncing our periods, but great little excuse there. No, I was just confronting something head on about somebody having a tip line in a missing child's case. That's it. That's all.
Sorry, I said it.
Well, I'm a guy, so that's not me.
Well, guys, you know what? We've been on here like
Shit she said to JP was vile and disgusting. But you know what JP came back and did? She showed the receipts of why she was questioning things, what she was questioning. She didn't go low. She didn't do any of that shit.
6 hours. I'm getting off here.
I
think it's
also
gonna
wanna
get full
say,
later.
like-
We'll get back on later. We'll try again later. Holy fuck.
Thanks for having me. Goodbye, everybody. Love it.
Absolutely. Have a good day, baby doll.
Bye.
Thank you, Lou, for coming up. Barbecue, thank you for coming up.
And all she would have had to do right there, like truly, all barbecue would have had to do was acknowledge, yeah, I had one. Yep. But you saw what she did. That's why it is what it is. Oh, yeah. It's a shit show. That was one of the first times I'd been over there in a long time. And I'm like, fuck this. I'm taking panel to ask these questions. I did. And that's where I got. Yeah. AMAC, JP's live was exceptional the other day. See, a lot of people have lumped me into creators or things that they think I'm a part of or aware of and stuff. You guys, I don't fucking have a clue half the time. Unless I am talking in the chat over there, I'm not there. That's 100%. And I've never lied about that. Not at all. Today, I was there for a few minutes while I was getting my nails done, but I told you guys that too. I was never, I've told you from jump, it drains me watching the Mensa panels that I do. It's hard for me to concentrate on panels with that many people. It always has. It's really hard to review those panels, but it's so problematic for me with the BJ stuff and the Mensa panel and all of how that's traveled. It's not just on one channel. It goes all over. It's been crazy. Yeah, there's that. Any other questions? Yeah, Beth, that's what I keep saying too. Like, as far as personal issues and stuff, I've never had personal issues with her. whatsoever. There's never been this, like, I don't know. It's just weird to me because a lot of people expect, like, they expected me to take a side on like Jones and her. I couldn't tell you the slightest of all that shit, to be honest. Like, I just don't know. I have my own people that I concentrate on. And in time, when the court case is done, I'm sure the receipts will be shown. And if they're not, like, that's, she knows, like, but I appreciate her allowing me up there to confront barbecue and hit it straight on. There's that. All right. Well, Crafty Girl, a lot of us did donate to the Blit boards. And when you're using, see, I have a problem with that, though. When you're using a missing child's name to gain money for a Blit board, it doesn't matter if people donated or not. When you're using a missing child to do that and claim that you're doing a good deed, it shouldn't be about who's donated or not. I disagree with that, but I did donate. And transparency was expected, but it's being skirted around every which way. So that's how I feel. Yeah, I don't think it matters if they donate or not, especially in this situation. I think transparency should be expected, especially off of the back of a missing child. It's one thing if you're like raising money for something else, but off the back of a missing child, it's an expectation. It doesn't matter if you've donated or not. But that's just my opinion on it. But I don't see that happening. Okay. Any other questions before I get out of here? Absolutely. Yep. 100%. Yeah, Helen, that too. Yeah, that's the thing is, I don't know why it's changed. I don't know why that's changed whatsoever. That's the one thing I will say, though, that people are pretty used to me with this whole thing of like, a lot of people have lumped me into places that I've never gone, like never been a part of a lot of stuff. Like I hear the rumblings, I sit back and watch some of the stuff. I hear this or that, but people come in here and have all these expectations. I couldn't tell you a lot of this shit because I actively do not watch a lot of this shit. I know the bigger, foundational issues that people are having, but a lot of them aren't. Oh, hold on. All right. They decided to say goodbye too. All right, you guys, I'm out. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you all later. Bye.